Take a look.
It is Thursday, April 17th. It is time to get in the weeds. I'm Jeremy Lambert. That is SP3. And today officially kind of kicks off busy season when it comes to WrestleMania. We had some events last night, including Dynamite, which is in Boston, not Las Vegas. Great episode of Dynamite. We had a GCW WWE ID tournament last night and also Dragon Gate USA. The Rebirth last night. Tonight, though, busy day. Busy night. WrestleCon Super Show. Bloodsport is tonight. Progress is tonight. Defy is tonight. I know there's a bunch of other stuff that I'm missing. We also have Collision. There's TNA Unbreakable. How could I possibly forget TNA?
How could you forget the so important TNA Unbreakable, their biggest show of the week?
Apologies to TNA Unbreakable. It's obviously a live episode of Collision as well. So it's a busy time period beginning today and tonight. And of course, because my body just betrays me at this point, I started getting sick last night. And I'm not feeling my best, but I got too much to do. I do not have time to get sick. So I have flu game. I'm Jordan in the flu game out here. This is what I gotta go through. You know, SP3, you're gonna have to be my Scottie Pippen. I'm just going to lean on you at the end of the game, but still going to get through it. Still going to get everything done that needs to get done. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing great. I've been up since about 4 a.m. your time, working, doing the grind with Wrestle Talk, which reminds me I'm going to clock out right here on air because I forgot to tell everybody. Yeah. No. I want to be fair. They gave me an extra hour because yesterday I did an interview, so might as well be fair and say have a good day, everyone. So yeah. But yes, we got to talk about the big episode, Spring Breakthrough for AEW Dynamite and everything that we saw last night. I would say this was the best weekly pro wrestling TV show of the year. I think that NXT Roadblock set the bar for that. It had been the best weekly TV show that I've saw this year, but Spring Breakthrough, man, top to bottom, that was one of the best Dynamite episodes of all time, and definitely the best weekly TV show that I've seen in pro wrestling this year. So hats off to Tony Khan, hats off to AEW. Can't wait to talk about it on today's show. And like I said, I've been up since 4 a.m. Well, actually, I've been up since about 3:30 a.m. your time, which is 8:30 here, because I had to run to the store. My missus needed stuff from the store, so I made a run to the store, woke up early on like 4-ish hours of sleep, so I'm right there with you, Jeremy, except I'm not feeling sick because I'm all about the grind. I worked a full Wrestle Talk shift on the website, and during that shift, I actually watched. So you're going to get it. It's a Thursday. You know what that means. It's time for SP3's C-level WWE show reviews. I've watched LFG. I've watched Evolve. We're going to talk about both of those shows. And like you mentioned, I've caught Wednesday was the light day when it comes to all the different shows that's going to be going on in Las Vegas. So I was actually able to fit in Dragon Gate USA Rebirth. I actually just finished that. I logged on here at like 10:01 your time. So I logged on here because I finished that show at like 9:59 your time. So I finished that show. I finished before that the GCW presents WWE ID Championship Tournament show as well. So I'm all up to date, so we can talk about both of those shows. We got news to discuss because we talked to yesterday. You gave us all the dish in the dirt from the Nick Khan interview. So now we could talk about Triple H's interview, which is two guys who need to take PR training classes because they're hilarious. They are hilariously funny. I would say funny. I won't say bad. I will say hilariously funny during their interviews. And also Roman Reigns talked to Vanity Fair where he revealed that he only has 1 or 2 more years in the wrestling business before he finds a different form of entertainment. So we have a lot to discuss on today's show. Welcome everyone. Appreciate you. Send a super chat if you want to show us some love. Drop the thumbs up on the video. That helps out the YouTube algorithm. They're 3 brothers, and all together it's algorithm. And there you go. You get the pop in the circumstance. You get the point to the WrestleMania sign. It's WrestleMania week, baby. This is gonna be my longest day of the weekend because I got this right now. 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time, True Hill Heat. I'll be joined by Maggie, who's over here on Coexisting with Rob and Maggie tomorrow. She's going to be joining me as well as Cresta B Star to preview WrestleMania 41's night 1 and 2 at 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Me and Chris G on the True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment channel. We're going to be doing an NBA playoffs preview over there. Then I'll have probably an hour or so or 3 or 4 hours to spend with my family before I watch Collision. And then after Collision, I'll be live on the Fightful main channel with Cresta the Star to review AEW Collision Spring Breakthrough from Boston, Massachusetts. So I have a long day. I'll be up until 4 a.m. my time.
It's a busy day. It's a busy weekend. Do not have time for this sickness or anything of the as SP3 mentioned. You can leave a thumbs up. He was holding the thumbs up, but you can always just leave it. Let's see if we'll get the subliminal messaging here. So I've already done the pyro and the ballet. There we go. There's the subliminal. It looks like I'm speaking a thumbs up. Leave a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Tap the bell for notifications. All that fun stuff. If you can, leave a super chat. That helps us out. That helps the channel out. That helps our contributors out. I don't think you're frozen because I see you moving a little bit, but I do respect how long you've held that thumbs up. Did a very good job.
I was trying to fool you to be like, oh my god, SP3's frozen. Now I'm stuck here to talk for a few minutes without him.
I'll be fine. You're moving a little too much, but it was good. It was very good. Leave a thumbs up, leave a super chat, all that fun stuff. We appreciate it. As SP3 mentioned, we do got a lot to get into, so there's no problem in wasting any time with it. I mean, we can start with Nick Khan and Triple H and Roman Reigns doing these interviews, and
I think that's the best thing because we got to wait for the thumbnil. We got to wait at least until the 30-minute mark.
Yeah, the Joel rule. Yeah, the Joel rule of 40 minutes. 40 minutes in. By the way, go check out Joel's interview with Joe Hendry on the main channel. Some very funny behind the scenes stuff last night. Joel sends this interview to me in the DM so I can get started on it, and so Sean can upload it and all this fun stuff. So he sends it while Dynamite is on, right? So I'm doing the transcriptions for it. It's about 18 minutes long. Maybe that's what the raw file was, 18 minutes. I don't know how long the actual once it was cut up, how long it actually was. It was about 18 minutes long. And he sends me the file, and I'm doing the transcriptions, and I finish it and I post it in our transcriptions channel on the chat. And then Sean in our main channel posts the interview, the YouTube link to the interview, and is like, oh, I've got Thatch. He does a lot of transcriptions for us. I've got Thatch doing this on a quick turnaround. And I'm like, why? I've already posted the whole transcription in the transcription channel, Sean. And then he accused me of being on drugs. Technically not incorrect. I was on some Dayquil last night. So technically I was on a little bit of medicine last night. But yeah, Sean, I'm already getting stuff done. Sean's just got to understand. I'm always getting stuff done. Hey, it never stops. Never stops. We're on 3 cups of coffee days around here nowadays for WrestleMania week. That started yesterday. It'll be another 3 cups today, mixed with some tea because trying to bring out the bad toxins in my body by drinking some tea with honey in it. So gotta stay hydrated for the grind and try to stay healthy for the grind. So these interviews, SP3, we talked about the Nick Khan stuff a little bit yesterday. I'm not going to defend Nick Khan. I feel like I defended him too much yesterday, but hopefully people understood where I was coming from. Yet not trying to defend Nick Khan when it comes to his comments yesterday. Nick Khan was directly asked about AEW yesterday. He doesn't have to give the answer that he gave. He doesn't have to give the, oh, we don't bench people. Oh, and their contracts are coming up. Assume they'll come over. Oh, we're the underdog. He doesn't have to give that answer. He doesn't have to say all respect for the billionaire father.
I do want to thank you for telling me that on yesterday's show, because I did also my schedule has been very busy the last 2 days. So yesterday I did the Daredevil watch along for the final episode of season 1 with Jimmy Macaram for his channel. And he had no idea about the Nick Khan interview. And I just told him the line of WWE is always the underdog. This man laughed the longest. I've known this man for 20 years. This is the longest he's ever laughed. Like he would stop and then he just started laughing again. He's like, what is going on? He was deliriously laughing. Thank you so much for telling me that yesterday.
Stupid line. Stupid line. But so yeah, he doesn't have to give that answer. He doesn't have to, all respect to the billionaire father who owns the Jaguars. He doesn't have to give those answers. Those were the answers he gave. In fairness to Nick Khan, he was asked directly about AEW. This was not a Seth Rollins situation where Seth Rollins was talking about CM Punk and decided to reference the billionaire's kid. It was not like that. He was asked directly about AEW. He gave the answer he gave. So when people are like, why is WWE talking about AEW this week? Well, if they're asked about AEW, they're going to give an answer about AEW. Again, you can take fault with the answer. I certainly do. Him saying they don't bench talent is laughable. Him saying, oh yeah, when they're contractually obligated to talk, assume they'll come over. Him saying we're the underdog. I don't think any of those are good answers. But he didn't go out of his way to give these AEW answers in an interview that had nothing to do about AEW. That's the only defense I've got of Nick Khan on that. The Triple H stuff. If your best line is from Bully Ray a decade ago when he's telling people sit down and be a fan, you're doing something wrong. You're doing something wrong. I don't understand. The internet is not real. Be a fan and not a critic. Like, is this how you want us to consume everything? And it appears this is how they do want us to consume everything, is just sit there, enjoy what we are giving you, and don't worry about it. We're long gaming. Just enjoy the ride. Don't talk about the momentum. You do weekly episodic television. You love reminding us that you do weekly episodic television, that it's the longest running weekly episodic television show in history. So when you do that, people are going to talk about what is happening week to week. Now, if something else happens down the line that it's like, oh, you know what? 5 weeks ago, what I said, I was wrong on that. Look what they did. Look what they pivoted to. That was a good job by them. Hopefully you got people who's smart enough, or not smart enough, because not everyone is all that smart, aware and can recognize, like, yeah, I was wrong. Doesn't have the ego to just say they were always correct with everything. I feel we do a good job of that on this show of, if we were wrong about something and they did a good job pivoting, we will say that. But we're going to react to stuff in real time as it happens. It's no different than any other television show out there. Every other television show out there, people are online afterwards like, I didn't like this show. I didn't like this scene. I didn't like this performance. And then maybe a week later, it makes sense to them and they're like, oh, you know what? I was wrong on that one. That scene now makes more sense this week. That performance now makes more sense this week. Again, hopefully people can put aside their ego and actually say that if and when something begins to make sense, when it maybe didn't a week or 2 or 3 or 4 earlier. But going after the internet, a fan base that you loved because they sent you a gift basket years ago for NXT. This was a real thing, by the way, folks. Reddit sent this man a gift basket, and he had no problem doing the finger point to the gift basket of like, newest WWE NXT superstar right here. This gift basket. Going after the internet that was praising you all last year because of how great things were, and now being it's not real. It doesn't actually exist. It's just, it's dumb. It's pointless. And you're running off fans and alienating fans that have always stuck by the product, and the product that they will continue to stick by. And maybe that's why he feels he can do it, because he knows most of these fans aren't going anywhere. Just stupid comments. And thoughts, SP3?
I mean, you said that very articulately and very well.
That's
Yeah,
too much
very
credit,
well.
but thank you.
Very well said. Like I was just like, I felt vindicated by Triple H in this interview. I said it to Drew Nicholas, who has been in support of Triple H's booking on the main roster and probably was in support of him in NXT. And I saw his tweet where he was like, "I'm off the Triple H train" and stuff like that. And I told him, I was like, "Oh, welcome to my side of the street. I've actually been here since like 2003. I've been so done with Triple H since the Reign of Terror.
That's
all of y'all
true.
forgave him. All of y'all forgave him for that, but I didn't. I sure didn't, and it didn't. It would have taken like 20 years of his NXT booking for me to get on the other side of the street to being in support of Triple H. And I think that people overestimated him jumping over a bar that was at the center of the earth with Vince McMahon being the head of creative before him, and it was very easy for him to be better than that. And it's very easy to say this current era of WWE is better than the Vince McMahon era because at least he's trying, but it's still the WWE. The attitude, the mindset of them, the we're greater than everybody, the stuff that Nick Khan had to say, the stuff that Triple H had to say. This is something that we all should have known. This is who they are in the essence of who they are. They are not this fan-friendly, oh, we are here to put a smile on people's face. We're here like McDonald's, we're here to make everyone happy. We're doing it for the boys. We're doing it for the performers. No, they are money-hungry, egotistical billionaires, millionaires. Like, that's what they are at the end of the day. They don't care what any of us say. If we are in support of them, yeah, they'll go out on TV and be like, yeah, this is the most critically acclaimed. WWE's hotter than it's ever been. But as soon as the criticism gets too loud for him, Triple H has always been the type of guy that will cut a full 18-minute promo, and I was there live for it in Barclays Center back in 2014 about your friend Mark complaining on the internet when he was in objectively one of the most drawn-out, long-suffering storylines in WWE history with the Authority. He was the guy who would go out on TV and cut promos like that. This is who he is. So him saying, F off to the critics, be a fan, basically telling you, I can serve you shit. You eat it with a smile on your face, or I don't want you here. That is who Triple H is. And that's who Triple H has been for a full 2 decades. So I will agree with anybody who says, yeah, he is better than Vince McMahon as a booker. Yeah, he might be even slightly better than Tony Khan as a booker. That doesn't mean he's a perfect booker. That doesn't mean everything he does is good. That doesn't mean he's not above reproach. I think that is what he feels like in his head, or that he will project out there in these interviews. And he's been very, very wise with who he's choosing to talk to. He's choosing to talk to Andrew Schultz, who's a friend of WWE now that they're with NXT. I mean, with Netflix. He's doing interviews with Peter Rosenberg on WWE's YouTube to promote WWE and promote WrestleMania. He's very selective with who he's talking to, because he knows that if he gets out of that bubble, he's going to get asked real questions. And we've seen in these press conferences, whenever he's asked a real question, he falls on his damn ass and his big ass nose.
Triple H does some good things as a booker. He does some not so good things as a booker. The problem is it's how you take that criticism. And being combative with it doesn't do him any favors. This Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Io Sky story has been a mess. It's been an absolute mess. They can't figure out who's actually the babyface and who's the heel. Rhea is undeservedly complaining and being inserted into the match. And to sit here and just say, don't criticize, don't criticize, don't criticize. It's like, well, do a better job then. If you don't want me to criticize something, do a better job. Like, again, it's very funny. It's very, very funny, because you go back to a few, even months ago, honestly, go back to a few months ago. And when he's talking about, oh, we have fans who consume our product in so many different ways. Some fans just watch the television, but other fans go online and they read everything, or they see the videos online, or they check the social posts, or they want to know all the backstage stuff. It's like that's the beauty of WWE, is you could consume it in so many different ways. You can get as deep into it as you want, or you could just watch the surface level stuff. And that's what's so great about wrestling and the entertainment and the storytelling, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, so you realize that's the internet, right? Like, you realize those fans are consuming that stuff on the internet. You realize this show is on the internet. Like, this podcast that you were on, this interview with Peter Rosenberg, this interview with Andrew Schultz, it's on YouTube, which is the internet. I don't understand the combativeness when it comes to this stuff. Not everybody's going to like your stuff. No, it's a fact. You do some good stuff, you do some bad stuff. It happens. Some of these shows we do are good. Some of them I think suck. Like, I'm typically very honest about that. I'll tell SP3 or Joel after a show of like, oh, I didn't have the energy today. I didn't think I was good today. My bad. You know, I'm sorry. I screwed up. Hopefully tomorrow just goes a little bit better. It's okay to admit that. But to, you know, if someone else says, oh, the show sucked, like what happened here? They'd be like, well, you don't understand. Why are you complaining about this? Don't watch it. If you don't, that's always my favorite one, is don't watch it if you don't like it. It's like, all right, fine. I won't watch it.
Okay.
But like, bless Tony Khan. Tony is asked about feedback and pivoting and all of this stuff. I think Tony has a good answer when it comes to that. Tony
in retrospect, I was one of the people that like criticized him because I felt like he didn't really answer the question, or he didn't really say anything. But when you compare his answer to Triple H's answer or to Nick Khan's answer, it's like light years better. It's like, this feels like someone who took a PR class and learned how to answer this question, and these two just did it. And you bring up a good point. It's very combative, but that's not the surprising part to me. I don't know about you, but the Nick Khan interview and the Triple H interview is this underlying feeling of insecurity that is very weird to me. You're the number one wrestling promotion in the world. You are a $1 billion corporation. Why are you so insecure? And like, anytime they're asked about AEW, it's just a level of insecurity. And it's hilarious. You got Nick Khan and people on their TV and Seth Rollins in interviews about CM Punk bringing up Tony Khan being a billionaire's kid, basically calling him a Nepo baby, when this company is built on Nepo babies. Vince McMahon, Nepo baby. Vince Sr., Nepo baby. Like, you are like the third. Triple H is the son-in-law of Vince McMahon. What the hell are we talking about? Y'all didn't come up from scratch. Anytime Vince McMahon did anything from scratch, it sucked and it went out of business within a year. What the hell are we talking about?
I think it is funny the pettiness over the Tony Khan stuff. I wish Tony would fire back with some pettiness because I think it's funny when he does. He wasn't petty enough last night when it came to Nitro. Or to Nitro, sorry,
No,
to surpassing Nitro.
I love the fact that they just went out there and said,
Yeah,
we're gonna show you who we are. We're not gonna answer what y'all did. We're just gonna show you who we are. Do I think that's gonna last? Am I like completely eliminating the fact that maybe in a week or 2 or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they might have their rah-rah promo where they clap back? I wouldn't be surprised by that. But I love the fact that last night they stuck to who they were.
I agree because they put on such a fantastic show. I still wish Tony Khan would have opened it coming down on a motorcycle. Joel Pearl's here for some reason. Hello, Joel.
Well, in case you didn't know, WWE is on fire right now. They just didn't tell you that it's on literal fire with the comments they're making.
In case you've been living under a rock, yeah, WWE is on fire. How you doing, Joel?
I'm okay. A little tired today, but I'm all right.
Yeah?
Yeah. I woke up at 4:30 and then I got a little more sleep after that, but I'm doing okay.
Okay. All right.
How are you guys doing?
I'm sick. I picked.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Damn.
I got about 4 hours of sleep last night. I fell asleep at like 1 and then woke up at 5 and never really got back to sleep. I've been feeling awful. So yeah, my wife's about to bring me some tea. I don't have time to get sick, Joel. You know this.
I know that. I'm sorry that you're feeling sick. That sucks. Yeah. SP3, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I gave a breakdown of my schedule to start the show, so you can rewind back to tell you. Like, I'm not on that much sleep, but I've consumed a lot of pro wrestling, which is going to be a theme of the week. And today is my long day. But pause. How you doing, Joel? You did a great interview with Joe Hendry.
Thank you. I felt pretty good about it. I think there was one question that Joe was kind of a dick about, and that was the taping out of order question.
Yeah, that was I don't think it was a good question. You explained it very well. He just wanted to protect kayfabe essentially, and wanted to be like, I only want to comment on, the order of the show. Like, I thought it was a fair question. I don't think you did anything wrong with it, but I could tell there was a little. He was being a little surly about it.
Yeah, and then that was the one thing where I was just like, come on, man. Like, people know, and we, that is legitimately one of the first times in a while, if ever, where they've taped in a way where they've had like a live plus show in the middle of their taping schedule. That's like they basically have to like divert their entire storyline. So regardless, I asked and then I tried to pick it up, but whatever, it all worked out. The rest of the questions I thought were good. The joyous stuff was fun.
You did well with it. I personally had a question where I think I asked him about when did he find out he was going to be in the Royal Rumble, and he kayfabed me on that. So I'm not surprised that happened to you with that question. I wasn't surprised when I watched the interview.
So people who are asking about my voice, here's the deal. I just woke up. I just woke up, and I haven't spoken to anyone yet today. Like, I think yesterday I got on after I'd spoken to my wife for about half an hour. So this time you're getting me fresh as a daisy. Just woke up. I got to bed around midnight. I went to the Dragon Gate show, saw Cam Hawkins, shout out to him, and a bunch of other Canadian friends, which was fantastic. Ran into Daniel Spencer, one of the referees at TNA that I like to make fun of all the time. And Reese Maddox was on the show. For those who remember that name, a couple reasons why, because Cole Radrick booked him for the SpongeBob show last year, and that got us a couple of headlines, because that also happens to be WWE referee Jason Ayers' son. So got to see him take on Ho Ho Loon in a really fun match. And there were some other really good matches. I mean, Ultimo Dragon was on the card.
Love seeing him there.
Saint was on the card as well. Von Vertigo was hanging out, if we know Canadian talent. So yeah, it was a good show. So shout out to the Dragon Gate crew. They were working hard. It was not a busy room at the Pearl because it's 9:00 on a Wednesday. Everything really kicks off today, but no, they were doing their best out there. It was fun. So no, my
like
voice isn't gone, by the way. It's just I just woke up.
I felt like the crowd was actually better for the Dragon Gate show than the GCW WWE ID show. I felt like they got up a little bit, especially like the final 3 matches. Ultimo Dragon coming out for that what was that, Thursday from the top, and then Swan and Willie Mack dancing with the referee, got them into the crowd. They brought a fan into the. Yeah. There was one fan that just kept going close to the ring. It was popping me how indie it was, and I love those type of shows. I bet you had a lot of fun there.
And having been at the Pearl before for TNA, where like they used guardrails and they had more people sitting on the floor, I was like, what is this? And yeah, the Rich Swann Willie Mack entrance was hilarious. I was sitting with Cam at this point and his brother, and I turned to him and I was just like, this entrance is going to go longer than the match. And it ended up being a really fantastic match, but like the show was good. That 3-team match was also really strong stuff. But yeah, it was a good day. Check out the interview with Joe if you haven't. I just sent Jeremy and Sean the interview I did with Lil Mars.
Yes.
It's a 30-minute interview. It's a profile piece. We dug into a lot of really cool stuff. She has a very interesting character that I think people look at on its head and get a little maybe weirded out, because she plays like an inner child type of character. But when you actually understand what the presentation is, and that it's not supposed to be like a creepy little girl, more of an actual inner child, like a therapized little child, when you actually start to understand what she is and how she operates, you get really into it. But yeah, shout out to her. I got to run into Shazza McKenzie as well, so said some nice things to each other, and they had a good night, and so did I.
The interview you just sent with Lil Mraz, that's going to be a Thatch special.
Fine by me.
Because so I told the story before you came on, but I'll quickly repeat it here. You sent the Joe Hendry interview last night, and I'd already transcribed it and everything, and I dropped the transcriptions in our transcriptions channel in our chat. And like 2 minutes after I put all the transcriptions in the chat, Sean put the YouTube video in our main chat, and he's like, I'll have Thatch do this with a quick turnaround. And I'm like, why? No, I've already done all of it. So, but yeah, the Little Mars, that one's probably one that's not quite as timely, and I'm not rushing to get that whole thing.
That's all good.
So, yeah, work on that.
And also, like, it's a profile piece. We didn't talk so much about the matches she was having this week. It was more about the fact that she's come over from Australia. She's really on the grind. And again, she's someone to look out for. She's connected to a lot of the Australian women that you've seen on TV and just heard of in wrestling. So yeah, definitely someone you want to keep an eye on. Today's a busy ass day, by the way.
Well, before we get into your busy day, we got to ask, did you help MJF last night? Did you help set that up and send them over, the women?
No comments.
Okay.
I help my Jewish brothers. By the way, shout out to Ryan Lambert, who will always ask, where's his drink? There
you go.
All right. That's we've had a lot of comments about what you were going to spend your per diem on. And as Jay Grills points out, the Shady Escorts, Louis, if he's here, he will always point out the Shady Escorts. That was one of your missions when you were in Vegas, is to interview the Shady Escorts. And then I'm not saying these women last night on Dynamite were Shady Escorts, but they were women who had a mission to syndicate the hurtness. I think that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, syndicate the hurt.
Yeah, syndicate the hurt, and
by giving them the business.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah. So we didn't know if you had anything to do with that or not, Joel.
I did,
but I gotta ask.
I did not. I did get to watch most of Dynamite though. Lil Mars showed up right after the wild card match. So first of all, gotta say, Josh Alexander, fantastic. This was something I know Jeremy and SP3, the three of us, have talked about being a possibility. And I give AEW full marks because the wildcard match happened far enough from the actual match that we kind of had a chance to say it could be anyone else. It could have been Jack Perry. It could have been a Swerve and Darby actually already climbed Everest or whatever. Like, there were other names were out there. But I think when we started with Josh, that was that was the answer, and I'm really glad to see him finally debut with AEW. And last time I saw him, believe it or not, was when I did my Macklin interview at Northern Crown, because he wasn't there, but he was backstage hanging out, getting ready to head back to the States, get his visa all settled. But great to see him. Great to see him debut, and he had a really strong match against Hangman Adam Page. So after the turn and the beatdown, and he became Josh Alexander, I had to turn it off. But unfortunately, the Tom Callis is dead. Long live Josh.
Not yet.
Allison.
I don't know. I wouldn't say it yet.
We never know. We never
you want
know.
to do both? Sorry, that's Fandango, but you want to do both,
Let's
guys?
say. Yeah, why not?
I wouldn't mind. I did love it. I did love it because I was like, the reason why I was kind of going away from Josh being the wild card, because I knew whoever faced Hangman, whoever the wild card was probably going to lose, and I didn't want him to lose in his debut. But then I really thought about it, and I was like, he lost nothing in the way that he lost, and you have to think about the history of AEW and think about the guys who lost in their debut matches. Konosuke Takeshita lost in his debut matchup in AEW. Ricochet lost in his debut matchup in AEW. They have had many top stars. Yeah, he did. It was the Casino Gauntlet.
Yeah, the Gauntlet, but he wasn't pinned.
He lost. He lost.
That's true. He didn't win the match.
Semantics.
He did not win the match. He lost. These guys,
technically.
these guys have come into AEW and lost, and come into a prominent position and been in a good position. Orange Cassidy, one of their biggest made stars. Darby Allin, another one of their biggest made stars, did not win in their debut matches or lost very early on in their runs. And I like the fact that immediately they address what's next for him, with Don Callis whispering in his ear, and that it just makes sense to pair him up with Don Callis and the Don Callis family. If you know his background, Josh Alexander with Scott D'Amore, and you know who was Scott D'Amore's longtime best friend, who really reshaped Impact Wrestling back 6-7 years ago, it was Don Callis and Scott D'Amore. So it makes sense for Callis to get someone who he could say is the best wrestler from Canada, and that creates a whole nother great matchup between Josh and Kenny Omega down the line as well. So this works on so many different levels. Love this debut. This was a great debut for Josh Alexander, and I thought the matchup with Hangman was a banger. I thought they went out there and they left nothing in the chamber. They really went all out there in that matchup, and it stood out on a show that had probably 2 match of the year candidates on it.
Yeah, I know you guys are going to dig more into Dynamite, but I did want to put it out there because it's Josh. And I've been following him for years, and very proudly from the same area as him. So it's just good to see him come out and do this and have a strong showing. So I'm looking for. Sorry, I was reading something else. I'm looking forward to seeing how he debuts and how he continues in with AEW. The show was strong. Going to go back and watch the finish of everything because I didn't get to see probably about the last hour, but. Everyone has told me, and I kind of agree, that the best thing AEW did last night was just do their show and do a strong ass show. I know, Jeremy. To your credit, I think by Friday you'll get your wish. I think after he's done and he's had 2 strong shows, I think then Tony will go on whichever show, not Busted Open, and say. He should come on
here, Tony.
Come on. In Tony's Weeds on a Friday, and he should be able to take his victory lap, assuming tomorrow's show was as strong as yesterday's, and say, we did our show, we did our best. Now, top that. Whatever he wants to say, he should be able to retort because he had 2 strong shows. Again, I'm assuming tonight goes well. And
tonight should be the petty show. Just do the pettiness tonight.
Because they didn't really advertise anything that's a draw.
Yeah, they only got like 3 things on the show tonight, and it's like, ROH TV title match, because that thing still exists allegedly. Here's Mercedes wrestling again, which is great, but teaming with Harley, again, great. Feels like you're telegraphing Chris Statlander defeating Jamie Hayter by putting her in this match, and then, here's Julia Hart, and then the friggin' TNT Open Challenge is back because...
that's what that belt was. That's what that belt was.
But
I'm okay with that belt being exclusively an open challenge belt, because again, there are too many damn belts. That's just the general feeling amongst wrestling. Too many damn belts.
I'm over open
The biggest draw on tonight's show is Tony Storm on commentary.
Fair. Honestly, fair. I hope he goes petty tonight. I hope, you know what?
I hope she goes petty through him.
Yeah.
That would actually be really good.
He uses Tony Storm as a conduit through which to be petty.
That would actually
We're right here. I was thinking that same thing. I was like, Tony Storm is the Tony who could get away with it.
Yeah, and people will be like, oh my God, she's so amazing. And like, no one will bat an eyelash. I think that works. Everyone wins.
I like that. I do hope, like, I don't know, drop it in 15 minutes or so, because then it'll give us something to talk about. Bring back the classic. Tony Khan has a major announcement tonight on AEW Collision. And the announcement is just like, we surpassed Nitro.
He's got to be wearing the stupid heart glasses that he used
to
wear.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And he's doing the crossed arms with the biceps pulsed out. Yeah. People used to make fun of him, myself included, because they were so hokey and silly. But like, I think at this point, we'd all look back at it and be like, all right, do it again, Tony. You deserve this one.
Those vignettes rolled. People got so mad about them. They rolled.
They were so stupid.
They were awesome.
They were
awesome.
Fantastic.
I used to watch Impact for the Tony Khan interruptions.
Pile driver saying they're not stupid, they're eccentric. That's one way to put it.
Oh man, he needs to go petty tonight, just for me. I don't care about anybody else. Bring the motorcycle down tonight. Do that. Strum the guitar. Whatever you got to do. Whatever. Throw some kicks. Remember when Bischoff like kicked the Bucks on TNA? He'd throw those terrible looking kicks. I know he's like a karate black belt, so like maybe they hurt. I don't know, but he made fun of Shawn Michaels' super kick when he was spoiling matches. Tony should throw some kicks. Who cares? Just go full petty.
You know what I really liked about something you tweeted yesterday about the motorcycle gimmick? It wasn't the silly ass replies about like tribalism, whatever. I don't care. Those people just don't get it.
Dude, someone said I was the worst thing about AEW.
God bless.
I had to comment under them like, joke over your head. You are slow.
What I actually liked were the people replying he should strum a guitar, because that just showed the age differential among wrestling fans. I was like, you got 1998 Jeremy Lambert out here saying he should be, on a 1997, I should say, on a motorcycle coming down for Raptors. And then everyone's like, I wasn't born yet, but I saw him play the guitar when I was 8. And it's like 2011. Like, oh shit, we're old.
We're old as hell.
That was so funny when someone's like, you're the worst part of AEW, the tribalism and the thin skin. And I'm like, dude, I got nothing to do with this company outside of, I got a t-shirt made because of articles that I wrote. That's my only tie to this promotion. And sometimes wrestlers and the owner likes my tweets. That's about it.
You should tell them that you created the Blackpool Combat Club.
No, he just created the Death Riders.
No, because the shirt came with the Combat Club. We gotta give the timeline some ideal here.
It's always dumb to me when fans are like, oh, the worst part about promotion is the other fans. It's like, okay, so don't pay attention to those fans. Like, what do you mean the worst part about the promotion is the tribalism and fans who think the company is great and can do no wrong? Like, that's their opinion. I don't agree with all of them all the time, but sure, they really enjoy what they're watching. They think it's better than I think it is. If that's the worst part of the promotion to you, you need to find something else to do with your life, because caring what other people think to that extent that it hurts your enjoyment. It wasn't an argument, because I was proven right about this when someone tried to tell me that Cope was a detour in that Death Rider storyline. Yeah, 3-month detour that happened.
It was the emergency route. It's fine. Those take longer.
Yeah, but this person said the same thing to me. Is like, oh, this is the worst part about like being a fan of the promotion, is that you just can't enjoy everything. Like, yeah, I can enjoy everything. If I don't like it, I'm going to say I don't like it. If my enjoyment or my lack of enjoyment affects you that much, please do something else. Please do not pay attention to me. I am not worth getting that mad about. Like, nobody is, honestly. Sometimes Joel and I argue, sometimes SP3 and I argue. Once we're done with the show, we're all friends. Not me and Joel so much. Me and SP3, yes. But like, I don't care what Joel thinks about AEW. I listen to what he says. If I disagree with it, I'll say I'll disagree with it. If I agree with it, I'll say I agree with it. But what he thinks, his hatred of AEW, does not affect my enjoyment of AEW. And if it does, stop listening. Honestly, stop listening. And it's not because like I don't want you to listen. It's because clearly you are consuming this show and potentially other shows in a way you should not be consuming the show. And I'm looking out for the betterment of you. Please pay me.
SP3, if you have something to add, I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
No, that was perfect.
Jeremy's correct. That's what everyone should be adding.
Let me add to what you're saying, Jeremy. I'm running around and I'm seeing a lot of people and hearing a lot of conversations, and like nobody who I've seen who is a wrestling fan is talking about any of this stuff. And I know this is a common thing that you'll hear from people who kind of push back on what we talk about. And like, nobody sees me and like knows who I am. I went to the Dragon Gate show and like a couple of people, said hi, which is really nice. But all in all, like people on the street, I went to In-N-Out with Lil Mars afterwards, and like nobody cared, saw us, said hi. Nobody knows who I am.
Oh, you're burying the lead. You went to In-N-Out?
Oh yeah, I went to In-N-Out. It was great.
I was In-N-Out.
It's actually in the interview. We actually set up our dinner during the interview.
Okay.
And afterwards, she's like, "So you want to go to In-N-Out?" I was like, "Yes, I do."
So, what would you rate the In-N-Out?
So we go to the one that's by the link because it's on the strip, and it's on.
Me.
So it's the one that's on the strip. There are like 5 locations. We happen to be going that way. So anyway, it was fine. It was quick enough given it was so busy. But yeah, like Louis saying, worst fries on the planet. They're not the best. But
I was gonna say though, you said fine. What did we say yesterday, Jeremy? What's fine? Fine is just one level above bad. Yes, I agree. In-N-Out is fine. It's just one level above bad.
You know what it is? It's affordable on the strip. And affordable on the strip is hard to find, and that's what I got. Especially because yesterday it took me until 11 o'clock Pacific to find any food to eat because I was rushing around trying to get other stuff. And then when I realized I was hungry, I had to go to like the Chick-fil-A inside the Golden Nugget, which also is stupid expensive because it's in a hotel. So anyway, you live and learn. But yeah, we went to In-N-Out. My point of all this is this week there will be a lot of interviews and there will be a lot of content, and there's going to be a lot of people on the internet talking about what's going on. Go ahead, talk about it. And some of this stuff is worth talking about, especially like when something tone deaf or something stupid is said. Like, it's fine to talk about it, even joke about it. Don't get yourself in a tizzy over it. But 99% of the people who are here this weekend aren't in that world. Here's a perfect example. On my flight in, there was a British dude. Nice guy. We chatted for a few minutes. He was wearing a Roman Reigns sweater. My breaking of the ice to him, because I'm not wearing anything wrestling related, I turned to him and I said, "You spent all that money just to come and watch your guy lose." And we laughed. and then like we were just chatting about like, yeah, we just had a good
what a dick. Yeah.
That's me. Well, whatever. It turns out he was British, so the humor was perfect for him. Anyway, so we were just chatting about like what his plans are for WrestleMania week. He asked why I'm there and why he's there, blah blah blah. And then he told me, me and my mates have tickets to the Tony Hinchcliffe roast of WrestleMania. No. And I was like, that's the face. I didn't make that face, but I made the face SP3 is making kind of in my brain because all we've been talking about is like, oh shit, not that, but he's like perfectly nice dude. He was like, I think we sometimes kind of characterize the people who buy these tickets as like, they're doing it because they believe politically in these people, when in reality, a lot of people don't know. I'm sure if I told this dude, do you know what this guy has said, in various forums and how he like is, he could very well be like, yeah, and I think he's funny. Or he could be like, oh shit, I didn't know. I just heard that the roast is going to be fun because my favorite wrestler is there. I don't know, but he's going. He seemed like a perfectly nice dude. He knew some of the dudes in the post wrestling world, so like he clearly has an idea of who's involved and who's not. But he's going with his buddies. he's going with his buddies and he's going to have a good time. And that's what this week is about for a lot of people. They spent a lot of money to do it. In some cases, they went bankrupt to do it, but they're doing it and they're going to have fun. So I hope that people who are here are going to have that fun, but I also hope people at home still take stock in the fact that there is fun and entertainment in this. But we are also in the business of being factual and entertaining at the same time. So to Jeremy's point, don't let our comments get in the way of your enjoyment of a product. But if somebody who runs the show says something that makes you feel uncomfortable, then yeah, remove yourself from that. If that is your choice, do what you got to do. But know that not everyone is talking about the same stuff we are.
What's on the docket for you today, Joel?
I have to go to the Chris Bay breakfast. I had a funny conversation yesterday with Ross, who is the PR person for TNA.
We got to come up with a name for him to where we don't name him on air.
Yeah.
Dr. Ross.
Ross Geller.
The doc.
Dr. Ross Geller.
Just the doc.
The doc.
He's
He's been on TV before. It's fine. Anyway, he and I were talking about this, and what I didn't realize at the time when we were talking about it was that all the proceeds from today's breakfast go to Chris. So it's a $50 a ticket breakfast. We are going to be working on something to benefit Chris as well in this, because we're media, but we're also trying to make sure that we're not taking away from Chris. So yeah, plan is to be there this morning and to cover that, because it would be very important to see Chris and also to see the event itself. The Hardys are going to be there. I think Tom Hampton's hosting. There are other people from TNA and who knows where else coming in to say hi. Yeah, so going to be there. And then after that, I'm running over to WWE World to pick up my press credentials, and I was invited to a panel, and it is SP3's favorite panel of the week. It is the WWE LFG panel.
Let's go. Let's fucking go.
I'm going to be at WWE World already. I think that's why they targeted it as today. So
when they watch in the week, they know we the only morning show that's covering LFG on a regular basis.
God, I hope they don't.
So I doubt that the PR person from A&E is doing that.
Oh, the PR person, they like, oh, this guy loves LFG. I'm like the biggest voice who's saying it in wrestling media right now. LFG, best WWE show weekly.
I don't know.
My kids.
Kid's got it. Kid's right.
Dude, that kid just cooked you. Holy shit. That kid does not give a fuck about LFG. That kid was like, shut up, Dada. Jesus.
That rule. Sean like messaged your daughter, be like, run in there right now.
I have nothing to say.
This is gonna make an amazing clip, by the way. When I clip this. Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
That's the show, folks. We peaked there. Sorry. We're done.
Yeah. I don't know if I can continue. I got so many shows to do today, but I don't know if I can do that.
I hear my wife cackling from the other room. Just cackling. Oh my gosh.
Can't buy that level of fun.
No, Harlem destroyed you right there. I know it was her. Like,
that's
the star. Yeah, that's the star. Yeah.
SP4 is just like, I'm gonna mind my business. You will have to deal with that.
Oh, I'm gonna turn that into a drop now, and then like I'm just gonna play it. Yeah.
When I start ranting on this show, you just
shut up. Oh god.
Holy shit, that ruled.
Anyway, so that's where I'm going. And because the panel's not that long, I can then run over hopefully to West Coast Pro. I know our pal Cam's going to be on commentary there, so that is the plan, to be there. And then what's after that? I'm gonna eat food at one point during all this, and Bloodsport's at 7 o'clock, but so is TNA Unbreakable. So I might split my time between both, depending on the card structure. I have to ask certain wrestlers when their matches are on, so I can see if I can make it to watch both at the same time, or at least at different points in the evening. Yeah, we'll see. I've already been told by a bunch of TNA wrestlers, like, "Hey, you coming tonight?" I'm like, I guess I'm coming tonight.
Macklin doesn't care if you're there or not. Quit acting like he does.
Don't make me show you DMs.
He wants you to be there when he's international champion.
He needs someone to support him because his wife's not there right now. So, someone's gonna hold his hand.
Tell Macklin to DM me who's gonna win so I can pre-write this story.
I think I don't know, man. There's a feeling that if he's gonna DM me that much about the show and the title and its importance and all this other stuff that we talk about, you might be winning it.
Tell him to DM me who's gonna win. Just can you message Jeremy who's gonna win? He's not gonna spoil it. I've never spoiled anything in my life. I just wanna be ahead. It's already a busy night. Anything I can write at 11 a.m. that's gonna happen at 11 p.m. I much appreciate.
We'll see.
Right.
But it's going to be, that's right. It's going to start late for y'all too. It's going to be what? 10 o'clock when it starts. PM.
I'm going to be up so late tonight. That's why getting 4 hours of sleep isn't great, but hopefully I just start feeling better. I feel a little bit better right now. I'm sure it's show adrenaline, and once the show is over, I'm going to be dead tired again. So
is anyone covering the Progress show? Don't say you.
Joel, the answer to every question of is anyone on the website doing this?
Yeah, it's you.
The answer is me.
That's fair. That is fair. Yeah, Grace is pointing out 11 p.m. for Bloodsport. Wait, did they move the time? It's supposed to be 7, wasn't it? Like
I think Grace is talking.
I think Eastern. Yeah, he's talking Eastern.
No, but 7 Eastern is
10.
Yeah, okay. I'm not crazy.
So I think it starts at 8. It starts at 8 o'clock your time.
I'll tell you. I'm pulling up.
Yeah, double check, because if I got an hour buffer, then I'm just going to go to TNA first, watch the first few matches.
It's 8 o'clock local. It's 11 here.
Okay, so I might go to Unbreakable because I have a feeling, because it's Wale Mania tonight as well, which I'm trying to get to, but I don't know because the Netflix and it's busy, and I'd like to be there, but who knows? Regardless, the Hardys 6-man might be early in the card because of all that. So I'm going to be seeing the Hardys a lot today. Just kind of came to that realization.
Joel, G-Lo told me to wear he told me to tell you to wear some blue if you go to Wale Mania so you can represent.
Hold on.
I was wearing blue yesterday.
He was.
See? You know.
By the way, my Hendry bit went nowhere because he was wearing interview outfit number 2. I was so pissed.
I noticed that he didn't have on the blue jacket and white pants and everything. So I was like, oh, that fell flat.
It was in a day 2 media.
He didn't acknowledge it at all, so I couldn't even pull it off. But I still respect that you tried it.
Wore those tight ass white pants and that tight ass blue shirt for nothing. I was upset with myself. I don't look that great. Xeno Hour, the Progress show starts at midnight.
Yeah.
Pacific. So it starts at 11:59. So at the end of tonight, the Progress show starts, and that's 3 a.m. where y'all are. So
yep. Which is convenient for me because it starts at 8 a.m. my time. I'll probably be waking up for my work shift at that time. So
which is really why they're doing it, because Progress is like a UK based promotion. So why not make it usable to the UK friends?
Yeah. I'm gonna probably try to wake up at 8 to watch it live before I start my work shift.
Yeah, I'm probably not staying up until 3 o'clock to watch Progress. Sorry.
I'll send you the results. It'll be in your DMs.
That's fine. Yeah,
I got you.
Sorry to Progress. I hope that your show goes very well. 3 a.m. is way too late. I'm already going to be up till. Bloodsport's probably not going to end till 1 or 2, so I'm at least staying up for that, and then I'm probably tapping out for the night after that.
Well,
still a late night.
It's going to be a late night. So y'all get some rest throughout the afternoon if you can. No. Probably not. I know. Who am I kidding?
No.
SP3, thank you for your LFG information.
You won't ask my question, you coward.
I don't think I should ask your question if I want to be able to attend any more WWE events.
It's a fair question.
With all due respect, I think SP3's questions are a little more relevant to the situation.
So, full disclosure, my question to the LFG panel, I asked Joel to ask Mickie James, does she think Michelle McCool is a WWE Hall of Famer? And I feel like that's very fair and relevant. Michelle McCool's going into the WWE Hall of Fame. Famously, the Piggy James stuff was Michelle McCool and Mickie James and Layla. Seems like a pretty fair question to me.
I could ask her, I can frame that question differently so it doesn't seem so combative.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I wouldn't frame it like that. I was just go like thoughts on Michelle McCool being in the WWE Hall of Fame. Like, how do you feel about that?
Okay, we'll reframe the question and then maybe. Yeah. Pile driver saying, I love that question. Might get Joel hurt. no one's tossed me in a dumpster yet, but there's still time, baby. Anyway.
You know what you should do? You know what you should legitimately do, Joel? Not trolling, little trolling, mostly trolling.
Mostly trolling.
Ask Shawn Michaels. It's not a question. It's a statement. Sup, legend. Thanks for bringing Thea Hale back. And that's it. That's it.
Hey, while we're here, can I get a ticket to Stand and Deliver? They said no to me, so I'd like to be there now. Be like,
I've been watching. I've obviously been watching a ton of WWE interviews this week, and legitimately every single person at the end of these interviews are like, can I go to WrestleMania? Like, can I get the hookup for WrestleMania? I was like, what are we doing here? Robert Griffin Jr. the third is doing an interview with Seth Rollins, and the end of the interview was like, hey, so can you get me and my wife and our 5 kids tickets to WrestleMania? And Seth is like, fuck, I guess I got to now, don't I? Like, you kind of put me on the spot here. I felt bad for Seth. I was like, shit, yeah, like, he's got to do it at this point. That sucks. But then everyone's asking him, like, we're thinking of coming to WrestleMania. Can you help us out? And the wrestlers are like, I'll see what I can do, I guess. It's like, geez.
The auto response should just be, you guys know anyone at Netflix?
Yeah.
You got a show coming up? Tell them you're a producer. Tell them you're like the third B-Boy Grip, and you'll get into WrestleMania. He'll even put you on camera, tell you what you do.
I feel bad for the wrestlers. Just like, hey, can you get us tickets to WrestleMania? It's like, dude, these tickets are $50,000. No, I can't get you tickets to it. You got money. You got more money than me. Buy your own ticket.
I think what they're trying to do is like build the prestige of WrestleMania, or like how hot the ticket is, and that's their way of being like, if I ask like, oh, it must be sold out, so if I say, can you get me in, then I make it sound like it's the hottest ticket in town, when in reality, if you know, you're like, it's expensive. It's just expensive, and the biggest stars in the world cannot afford a ticket. Well, here we are.
Enjoy your day, Joel. Enjoy the LFG panel. Ask the questions that I gave you. I think they're better than what SP3 gave you. They'll probably get you. I mean, the Thea Hill one won't get you in any trouble. Sean will be like, thanks, legend. Thea Hill's great to have. We love her energy.
And I'll be like, I would like some of that energy too. What's her secret? He's like, sentient cocaine, baby.
What if Shawn Michaels calls you a legend? What if he replies like, thanks, legend?
Well, first of all, you'd be like, thanks, legend. Let me tell you about the hell. And then 20 minutes later, I get, oh, he's not. No, he's a little.
Nah, Sean doesn't. Sean's a good interview.
Down the line. Yeah.
Legitimately, of all the people who should be running point on media, who have a high profile position in the company, Sean's number one. Sean does the best work of everybody out there when it comes to this stuff. He's much better at it than anybody else they put out there. So Sean might actually call you a legend.
Yeah, more centrist Democrats in this company. That's what I say.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. Anyway,
centrist.
more centrist registered Democrat. Anyway, good. Go read the articles. Go feel how you will. It is what it is. Hey, there you go. I just got a DM from another wrestler about an interview. So there we are. All right.
Who?
Papa Jasse, who's going to be working Ashe, and also Effie's Big Gay Brunch. So it's another profile piece, and really interesting dude. I picked interviewing him because his letterboxd is actually hilarious.
Oh, you're going to talk movies with him. All right.
We might just talk movies, but also like he's got a pretty interesting story with wrestling. So
who cares about wrestling? That's
kind of what the conversation was. I'm like, we don't need to talk much wrestling. He's like, oh, thank God. So he's a good dude. Anyway,
right. Enjoy your day, Joel. Good luck. Have fun.
Good luck, Joel.
Work hard. Don't work hard.
If you know where Busted Open is going to be today, apparently they just got in last night, running from the grind. Yeah. If you know where they are, tell me. If you see them, tell me. I need to find them. Joey Janela gets in today, so I got to recruit him too. And let me know. I'm going to take on that Busted Open crew. You're next, LaGreca.
Just look for a dude running around in a pink bathrobe. It can't be that difficult.
They all look the same, Jeremy. They all look the same.
It's Vegas.
Look for a big fat white dude who pushes around black people and tells them to get tables.
They all look the same, SP3. They all look the same.
A lot of
fair.
Anyone else want to throw this out so I can finish the bit on a third one?
Look for a Don Callis lookalike.
There's only two of those, and one now works for AEW. Oh, the other one works for Busted Open. They all look the same, Jeremy. They all look, well, he looks pretty good. Anyway, guys, I'll see you all later. Have fun.
Great day, Joel. Bye.
Take care, y'all. Bye.
See you, Joel.
All right. There's Joel Pearl's running there. Let's talk about Dynamite. We talked about Josh Alexander already, so we don't need to go back and talk about that anymore. I don't know if the big news or the best news or the news of the news, but the Death Riders were dethroned. Jon Moxley choked out by Samoa Joe, new AEW Trios champions, and then the locker room emptied to celebrate Samoa Joe, Katsuyori Shibata. I said that terribly.
Katsuyori.
I said Katsuyori. I don't even know.
Katsuyori. Custodian.
My bad. I had my brain removed and put back in, so I can't pronounce his name correctly. Shibata, Joe, and Powerhouse Hobbs, who replaced Hook, are the new AEW Trios champions. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it on this show that it felt like they might set up Joe and Moxley for Double or Nothing coming out of this. And given that finish, that is definitely what they're setting up out of this. So what'd you make of the main event and the Ops winning the Trios titles?
I remember yesterday we said that we thought that Ospreay and Takeshita would probably be the main event. We predicted accurately that Mercedes and Athena would be the opener, but we predicted Ospreay and Takeshita to be the main event. But then I also said I was like, knowing Tony Khan, he'll put the Death Riders in the main event. And I will say, like you mentioned earlier, when we are analyzing these stuff, we can go back and say, we were wrong. And I was saying that I wasn't wrong in saying that he would headline with the Death Riders, but I said it in a way that it was like the wrong choice. It was the right choice because it was a happy ending, and it was like the flip side of what we get from the Death Riders in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I mean, what we get from House of Torture. I've confused House of Torture and the Death Riders. I'm sorry. House of Torture in New Japan, where when they do their shenanigans and their run-ins and their different nefarious tactics, and it works in their favor, we're down on what they produce in New Japan Pro Wrestling. But when they get their comeuppance, it's usually one of the more heated and biggest crowd reactions that you get from the crowd. And despite following two legit match of the year candidates for All Elite Wrestling on this show, it was the right call to end with this because it was a big happy ending. Moxley and the Death Riders were put down. All their interference and all their different tactics were kind of thwarted. You had Hobbs take out Yuta. You had Shibata take out Claudio Castagnoli. Marina Shafir tried to get involved, and Willow Nightingale took care of her. The Young Bucks tried to get involved and swerve stomped both of of them at the same time, got rid of them, tossed them over the barricade, and then it came down to Joe and Moxley, and Joe beat Moxley clean, choked him out, middle of the ring, referee stoppage, big celebratory. You got all the baby faces to clear the locker room and have that celebration because it was the first time that the Death Riders lost something important, something significant since their reign of terror has begun. It was the first kind of shine. It was the first kind of like glimpse of light at the end of the tunnel for the Death Rider story. So it was very much like MCAS was going to say, I was going to say the same thing. It was very much a touch of WCW has beaten the NWO on this night. It's Lex Luger beats Hulk Hogan for the World Heavyweight Championship. It's Sting has come out and beat them up and made the save for Luger and DDP and the Giant. It's stuff like that. It was a happy ending, and it wasn't just a celebration for, you know, beating the Death Riders. It was also a celebration for AEW on this historic night. So it was the right thing to close the show. So great choice, and I thought the match was a lot of fun. I thought that everybody played their roles very well. I'm worried about Hook. I know that there was the report that he had vomited in the matchup last week, and people were concerned he had like a concussion of some kind. And the last time they did the off-camera attack by the Death Riders, it was for Jay White, who was out of time for a long while. So here, you know, I'm worried that it might be Hook might be out for at least a couple of weeks or so. So hopefully he's going to be all right. But it was a sublime choice because it made a lot of sense on multiple levels for it to be Powerhouse Hobbs to be the replacement. One, Hobbs has the history with Hook in Team Taz. And two, Hobbs has been kind of an outlier, sometimes in, sometimes out, kind of part-time rival of the Death Riders since he was the one who won the Casino Gauntlet earlier this year to burst Moxley in Cincinnati at Maximum Carnage. He's kind of been in and out of this Death Rider story, so I liked him being the choice to come back in, and he wins a title in AEW, and it kind of seems like AEW has something for him for now, at least for now, so I'm happy on a whole bunch of levels with the choice here.
I thought it was the correct call. I like the ending. Going with Joe, Shibata, and Powerhouse Hobbs, even if it was Hook in the spot. But getting the trios titles off of the Death Riders seemed to be the good move here. And setting up Joe and Moxley for Double or Nothing is the correct call, even though I don't think Joe's going to win, which is probably going to upset a lot of people when it does happen.
Please close with the Owen Hart Cup finals, please. 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 This is gonna be another period. It's gonna be like Revolution, where I'm like, just headline with something else. Don't headline with that. Do something else.
You know what should happen out of all of this though. It's great that the Ops won and they got the trios titles and everything, and Samoa Joe's back. Always like Samoa Joe being a champion. But now, like, they need an opponent. And you know who's just waiting in the wings to be their first big feud and to be potentially dethroning the Ops already.
Hi, guys!
Because the last time...
I knew you were going to a drop. That's why I just rolled my eyes, because none of your drops are something that I would be excited about.
But the last time we saw Samoa Joe and Chris Jericho, Samoa Joe was put through a wall, and then he came back, and that was never finished. We were just supposed to forget all about it. Where's my long-term storytelling, SP3? Why isn't Samoa Joe more mad about being put through a wall and being out of action for 6 months, however long it was? It was a long time. Why isn't he more mad about that? Feels like he should be. And it feels like this is a chance for the learning tree to come together once again, to have strong branches and strong roots and go after the trios titles.
Okay, I have a counterpoint. Could we not do that?
I'm sorry, you just want stuff to be dropped? You just want Samoa Joe to...
if something is not working, if something is not good, let's drop it. Jeff Jarrett going for the AEW World Championship, that wasn't good. They dropped it.
He got
the Nightmare Collective wasn't good. they
How
dropped it.
dare
The
you? That
learning
gave us the
tree,
Japanese deathmatch legend Luther. So no,
the learning tree, not good. So let's drop it.
he got put through a wall.
Mhm.
SP3.
Yep.
He's not mad about that.
Nope. Hey, you know who he could be feuding with? Christian Cage, who is back. Daddy is home. He slapped up his son, Nick Wayne,
Child
and
abuse.
hey. Sometimes you gotta do that. Sometimes you gotta do that. You gotta if you have a teenage son who's talking a whole bunch of crap in your face, you gotta slap him up sometimes. You gotta get him ready. You gotta toughen him up. He's going to Japan. This ain't no time to be doing all this soft parenting when your son's gonna go to Japan on his own. Gotta whip him into shape.
I don't stand for it.
Gotta whip him into shape. I say you whip him into shape, and now he's going for the Ring of Honor TV title against Commander tonight on Collision. For what reason? I don't know, but they made sense of it. Christian made sense of it. Christian is awesome.
Tonight?
I love
Oh
Christian.
yeah,
Yeah, it's tonight.
Sorry.
It's tonight on Collision.
But so, in my defense, you mentioned it's for the ROH title, and I thought it was an ROH show. That's my bad that the ROH title is being defended on AEW television. I'm like, wait a second, ROH is tomorrow. Although they are doing like a special episode of ROH in like 40 minutes from now. So sure.
Oh, top of the hour. Nice.
Yeah.
Got something to watch before my WrestleMania preview.
Yeah, so there's an ROH.
Aren't they doing two ROH specials this week? They're doing the show on Friday, right? At 4:20.
Yeah, they're doing a show at 12 today. They're doing a show tomorrow. Why? Knock it off.
It's like we don't need more wrestling to watch. Why would you do 2 Ring of Honor shows this week?
They're like, we're not doing Supercard this year, so here's just multiple Ring of Honor shows. I don't get it. I did pop me that they were like, yeah, let's air the show at 4:20 on a Friday.
I did like that too. I did like that too.
All right, Tony, I respect it.
That's fair, but I thought that was the only show we were doing. So
no, they announced this new one today. It's got Taya against La Catalina. It's a match,
and I know it's got Nick Wayne versus Michael Oku.
Yeah, that's on.
That was from last night.
Yeah, as I know, Supercard is in May. Modern Evolve. They're not doing Supercard WrestleMania weekend like when it typically is. That's what I was getting at there. So,
okay. We announced it yesterday on our NXT Stand and Deliver preview over on True Hill Heat. If you haven't watched it, go over and watch it. But me and Kate are going to be back together on the main channel on Fightful for Supercard of Honor.
That sounds
for Supercard of Honor. We're only doing pay-per-views until they care again.
Nah, that sounds terrible. But good luck, I guess.
Hey, only people that will have me up until 5 a.m. to review a wrestling show is Kate and Alex Pulowski, the NXT Sour Grabs team.
Okay. All right. Elsewhere on Dynamite, we opened, as we talked about yesterday, opening with Mercedes Moné against Athena, and Mercedes advanced in this match. I don't know if it's a hot take. I'm sure you might disagree. I thought this was the best match on the show. I liked it more than Ospreay.
I don't blame you at all. I thought that it started off a little bit slow and a little bit of like a little clunky, or not even sloppy, but clunky little spots early on. But once they started cooking, when she did the knee and Athena was hung up from the bottom rope, and then she started dancing, I thought they found their groove. They found their groove from there on out. Love the sequence on the apron when Mercedes went from trying the German suplex to trying the sunset flip powerbomb into Athena going for like a stunner of some kind. I liked all the spots on the barricade that led to like the suplex off the barricade, and then the drop kick into the screen barricade that short circuited
that was fantastic.
That was a great spot, and I love the finish where she reversed the O-face and then cheated to win. She cheated to win. I thought that commentary. I never think that commentary on AEW Dynamite is very good, and definitely not. I thought that eliminating Taz would make it slightly better, but no, Shoni Schiavone is not very good on commentary unless he's next to Nigel McGuinness. But I thought that they should have emphasized that she cheated to win. She held on to the tights. I think maybe Excalibur mentioned it, but I don't think they emphasized it enough. But I love the fact that she cheated because I felt like they were giving us an appetizer of like a pay-per-view matchup that can be even better. I thought this was an excellent opener to the show and one of the best women's matches of the year so far.
I was going to say the same thing of this was a fantastic match. And I don't even think it's the best match that they can have. Like, I feel like they can have an even better match. It felt like they left stuff on the table, probably by design, because they're going to run this back at some point and they're going to probably top this match. And it was still absolutely fantastic. And it was my favorite match on the show. Taking nothing away from Ospreay and Takeshita, which was also fantastic, but I still enjoyed this match just a little bit more. Mercedes winning, not too much of a surprise. You know, she was shown Toni Storm applauding from the audience. Toni Storm will be on commentary tonight for Mercedes and Harley against Chris and Julia Hart as well. So overall, a great way to start the show. And, you know, it set the tone for the rest of the night, because the rest of the night we just got great matches after great matches. Ospreay and Takeshita. Ospreay won, advances to the advances to the finals. He's the finals now.
Finals at Double or Nothing.
Yeah, the other side of the bracket's throwing me off because Hangman and Fletcher has not happened yet, and this was Hangman's first tournament match, while Ospreay's wrestling his second. So it was throwing me off. But yes, Ospreay advances to the finals, and Hangman defeated Alexander, which we talked about. But Ospreay and Takeshita, as expected, you put these guys in the ring, they're gonna have a great match. I think Takeshita, he might be the best wrestler in the company.
He just might be. This was incredible. This was my match of the night, and I think that only the Hollywood ending and Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd is the only matches that I can think is on the same level or maybe a little bit better than this match last night. This is one of the greatest Dynamite matches of all time. Like the final 10 minutes when they came back from that 90-second commercial break, they were just on it. It was absolutely sensational the entire time. The different sequences that they had from Ospreay trying to flip out of the lariat and he stumbles a bit, so that made it feel even realer, like a real fight instead of like choreographed a bit, because he then goes into going for the Os cutter, but because he stumbled right before there, Takeshita had enough to catch him with the world-class forearm. The world-class forearm, the first one that he hits, and Ospreay sells it like he's fucking stunned and he's like this. I was dying laughing, like the referee checked on him and everything. I love Takeshita acting like he was feigning and kind of playing possum on Ospreay whenever he tried to go for the hidden blade. I love that this is WrestleMania week, but we got a legit WrestleMania staple in this matchup of let's steal each other's moves, where Takeshita goes for the Stormbreaker, Ospreay reverses out of it, he catches him into like a victory roll style, but instead transitions that into the bastard driver wheelbarrow German suplex combination. He powers up, shows his fighting spirit, and Takeshita just gets up and blasts him with the hidden blade, and they protect the hidden blade for Takeshita, not for Ospreay, because Takeshita kicked out of the one hidden blade at the count of one, because he was like, no, you're not beating me with the same move that you beat me in North Carolina last year. You're not gonna beat me with the same move you beat me with at Revolution. Any hidden blade that he refused to be caught with the hidden blade in the back of the head without the arm pad. He was just reversing that every single time. But he caught him with one, and Ospreay rolled away to not get covered. Love the kick out at one combination for the lariat, and then the hidden blade. This was absolutely breathtaking. One of the greatest Dynamite matches of all time. And here comes Sean to hate on LFG. You sent my daughter in here to curse me out.
What?
Oh yeah,
you missed it. You missed it.
His daughter burst in and told him to shut up.
Listen,
shut up, Dad.
Listen,
you
probably because you were talking about LFG.
It legitimately was.
Probably because you all were sitting here bumping each other's dicks to LFG. That's what you all were doing. Pulling on each other's Peters to LFG. I can't handle it. I can't handle it anymore.
How you doing, Sean?
I'm doing good. You know what? I did see a clip of LFG. I saw a clip of the Bailey woman doing the Shane Mercer move.
Yeah, Mercy Kill.
Great move. I hate that you have to clasp the fingers to do it. That's it. But I mean, listen, incredible move, especially for somebody at that experience level. But if they were at an indie show watching Shane Mercer do it, they'd complain about that move. I guarantee you.
Absolutely.
I guarantee you.
Undertaker almost jumped out of his seat for that. Like, he loved it. He loved every second of it because it's his girl on his team. If he saw it anywhere else, he'd be complaining. Like, this is what the business has come to.
I will say, considering Undertaker's political history and stuff, he largely shuts the fuck up about that. But he is far less like back in my day as you would think for a guy that once said, like, maybe they should carry some more knives backstage.
Well, that's because for some reason his podcast doesn't exist anymore. But he had Trump on his podcast, so I'm not.
Yeah, he did. You're right, he did.
Yeah. Undertaker.
He doesn't have his podcast anymore.
He hasn't done a new episode in a while. I think they're waiting for it to be like a WWE branded podcast.
Listen, I honestly thought his podcast was really good. I thought it was very good.
It was one of the better ones. Yeah, all things considered. Like it wasn't as bad as some of the other ones that are out there.
Who were some of the worst?
The ones that I don't listen to typically. I don't.
There are 3 personalities that I won't name that specifically I was like, don't do articles. Don't do it.
I don't think Rikishi's podcast is all that good because he just talks about bloodline stuff and like his thoughts on that. And I don't care about
pretty beast, honestly.
I don't care about that. So I've said it a million times I don't care about like current wrestler opinions on the product. Like I know that gets like clicks and stuff, but to me, I'm just like, oh, can you like tell stories about cool stuff you did back in the day? That's what I want to hear about.
Yeah. You know what? I tried, and I wish he would have done it. I love Showdown Joe. I know, Jeremy, you remember him. Yeah. When Fightful launched, Jimmy hired me. He hired Showdown Joe Ferraro, who had been a big personality in Canada. And then behind my back, Jimmy hired Vince Russo that I was like, ugh. But Showdown Joe, they were hoping would be like what I became for the wrestling end. And when I feel like he always felt like he was asking his MMA contacts favors. And I'm like, man, if there's one time to ask them for favors, it's now. It's to launch this. But I encouraged him to do a show like Bruce Pritchard was doing. And I mean, like right when Bruce started to do it, I think I heard 2 episodes and I was like, this is going to be a hit. This is great. But what I asked Showdown Joe to do was to get Burt Watson to do it. And Jeremy, you might remember Burt Watson.
Yeah.
He was the guy, the hype man backstage at the UFC shows, because he's the only guy that was at all those shows besides like Dana White. The fighters, all that stuff. The cut men are out there in front of people. Bruce Buffer, he's out there in front of people. He's not backstage seeing the chaos. I really wish that would have happened because I think that would have been really beneficial for like MMA, because I got out of MMA for that reason. It's all current interviews and people saying, how was your fight camp? Oh, I feel better than ever. Oh,
yeah, the current stuff. Shout out to, by the way, Colin's in the chat. I can confirm Rikishi's podcast is not good.
Colin.
Yeah. Colin running from the grind, left us before WrestleMania week.
Yeah, Colin, we see you. That's a taunt is what that is. That's him saying, guess what I'm not doing this week?
Yeah, I'm not listening to Rikishi's podcast. I've listened to like 4 hours of Triple H this week, and then another 3 hours of Nick Khan, and
3.5 of it was Andrew Schultz. Like, God,
that was a long interview. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? But here's the thing: like the first half of that interview, it's just Triple H. Granted, I've heard all of these stories before of like, I was punished for this and we were doing DX, but like it's like this is actually like fun stuff. I think like this is stuff I want your stories of when you were back in the day. I certainly don't care about your political opinions, but like I don't care that you want to say the internet is not real and everything. But I realized that's an article because it's grabby and everything. But like I like the stories. When Undertaker's talking about, the best fight I'd ever seen was 2 hookers in Amsterdam. It's like, hell yeah, give me some Amsterdam fight stories. I don't care what you think about Gunther and his title reign. I once
watched 2 200-pound women have an MMA fight at a hot dog stand.
What?
Yeah.
Over a hot dog?
Venue.
Yeah, it was over the hot dog.
It was a venue in Richmond, Kentucky called Dale's Hot Dog Stand. And it was like, it started as a hot dog stand and then they grew it into this like hillbilly empire. And it had like a dance floor room attached to it. So Dale's Hot Dog Stand became like the thing. And they had this room off to the side that for some reason they hosted MMA fights there. I don't understand why they did that. I don't get it, but damn.
Dude, that's what the winner got. The winner got a hot dog.
He got the hot dog.
Yeah.
Or he got the hot dog stand.
I just checked into them to see if their Twitter was active. Great news. Saliva played there in March 2015.
Oh, look at that.
And had I known that, my ass would have been at Dale's Hot Dog Stand. That much I assure you.
Saliva after MMA fights.
After our last convo, I'm gonna start sending you basketball shoot interviews, Sean, because I saw a great one with Tony Allen. Who talked about. Did you see the one with Tony Allen where he talked about how Kobe used to speak in Italian to Sasha Vucic's?
Yes.
Just to confuse them.
No, we are hitting the best era of sports. I don't want to say the best era of sports media. Definitely not sports journalism, but in these basketball players getting podcasts, again, I'm like Jeremy. I don't care what you think. I don't care if you think MJ is better than LeBron or not. I want to hear Vernon Maxwell talking about Hakeem Olajuwon slapping him. That's what I want to hear.
I think it was Jeff Teague's podcast. I just assume it's always Jeff Teague.
Oh, he's so funny.
He's hilarious. But he's talking about Kevin Garnett and Dirk. And he's like, oh, Dirk was busting his ass in this game. And then Garnett fouled him hard. And I was like, KG, why'd you do that? And KG's like, he called me the N-word. He called me the N-word. He said it in German. And I'm like, he didn't say that. He didn't say that, KG. Dirk's not going to say that. And he's like, nah, he said that. Like, KG had to make up shit in his own head he could start playing harder.
NBA. I love that we're getting into it with baseball, too. The stories are a little bit more. Stuff. Yeah, the Maddox stuff, like Javi Lopez saying that he intentionally gave up a home run to Jeff Bagwell in like July because he knew he was going to face him in the playoffs and need for him to sit on a pitch. And I'm like, damn, like that's pretty wild. Now, some of the stories, like you can go back and see, and you're like, okay, Barry Bonds didn't hit like 12 doubles as he waited to pass Willie Mays. Like they acted like he held off getting the home run to tie Willie Mays. And as a result, he was just hitting doubles everywhere. And I'm like, he went 1 for 4 that game. We can see it. Like stats are available. But there are so many like stories that I can't wait to emerge from baseball. Like I'm so excited.
I just want to hear about the home run era. That was my era of baseball. Sammy Sosa versus Mark McGwire, and then Barry Bonds era. That's when I was very active in baseball and watching I used to go to a bunch of Yankee games. So I want to hear former Yankee players as well. They're also very good with the podcast.
Barry Bonds, he did some interview, and they asked him 100 miles an hour right down the middle. Could you hit it? And he's like, yes. And I believed him. Like he goes, now if you put curve on it, brake on it, it'd probably take me a long time to adjust to that at 60. But if you give me 100 miles an hour down the middle, and like in the comments, there wasn't one person saying, nah, he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Everybody's just like, yeah,
believe him.
Probably could.
Bonds, he was the hitting coach for the Marlins for the longest time, right? Like
he was
still involved with everything. And just give me old school stories. That's what I want to hear about.
This was also good. Like,
Yes.
Gilbert Arenas always lying and saying that Nick Young was like 21 in high school. He wasn't. He started college at 18. He is like, you went to court so you can keep yourself in high school an extra year.
I love when they have Rashad McCants on that podcast. They just clown him. They clown him because Rashad McCants is very adamant that he could have been like a 30-point scorer, that he could have been like an all-star when he was in the NBA. He just said, injuries, and I wasn't given the opportunity. And they're just like, man, get out of here.
Damn. I'm going to look. Okay. So McCant's best year per 36 minutes was just under 20 points a game at 23. Maybe for a spell. Maybe for a spell he could have done.
No. He was so hyped coming out of college, and people thought he was going to be something, and he just never was. Never.
The per 36 is always funny to me. It's like, oh, look what he do per 36. If he was that good, he'd be playing 36 minutes. Mm-hmm. But clearly he's not. So that's why he doesn't play that many minutes per game.
I wonder, I can't remember who it was I saw. And their per 36 stats were just so ridiculous. And they were like, a horrible player. Man, I can't remember.
What McClain does.
Did Royce White ever end up playing an NBA game?
I don't recall.
I don't think so.
Will McClain is correct.
He did. Yeah, he did. He played 3 for Sacramento. He played 3 minutes per game for Sacramento. He played 9 minutes total. He went 0 for 1 shooting and had 2 fouls.
Rashad McCants was a monster at UNC.
He was. He was. Like I said, he was so hyped coming out of college.
Royce White's per 36 stats are 0 points, rebounds, and assists with 8 fouls.
You need to check Pepe Sanchez. Former 76ers great.
I hate politically and socially how Royce White has gotten, but he was very ahead of his time in college because he was like a 6'8" point forward. And I remember Iowa State, I think they were playing Kentucky. And I see this big 6'8" guy carrying the ball down the floor. I'm like, what's he doing? What's he doing? Why? And they're like, yeah, we were going to recruit him, but he was afraid to get on a plane. It's like, oh, okay. That checks out.
Makes sense.
Oh, his player efficiency rating career minus 8.3.
That sounds
minus.
I mean, if he's averaging 8
8.3.
fouls, I mean, you legitimately can't get 8 fouls.
And yeah.
This could have been smart fouls, though, Jeremy. You don't know. The box score doesn't tell that.
No layups. Everybody was afraid to go inside because they're about to run into Royce White. So no layups, in the words of Russell.
I would be afraid to run into Royce White and having a conversation with him at this stage. Man's wild. All right, fellas. I'll see y'all later.
Bye, Sean. Enjoy your day.
Sean. LFG rocks.
I do like that he put the word into your daughter to come tell you to shut up about LFG. Other happenings on Dynamite. We had MJF trying to curry favor with the Hurt Business with women and watches, and it didn't work initially. But then MVP talked to Bobby and Shelton backstage, and seems like MJF might get somewhere with the women and watches, and we'll see if anything else persuades the Hurt Syndicate moving forward. But I thought it was a good segment overall.
I did too. Yeah. I saw some people be like, "Oh, that's a relic of the past" and stuff like that. I was like, "You guys don't like fun. You guys don't like fun. This is MJF becoming AEW's Godfather."
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, "Oh shit, he's the Godfather out here." Yeah.
See, he is black. He's the Godfather. But this was awesome because you could tell it was Shelton Benjamin. Oh my God, he might have been the star of this segment. His reaction, him and MVP.
Him and MVP, yeah. Like, Shelton. Oh, my bad.
What? It was like, Even the backstage segment, he was like, "Can we enjoy the ladies?" And then MVP tried to talk to him like he means well. We can use him to get what we want, and I like that. This was probably like the progression that I wanted from this story, where you could see MJF is gaining favor with Shelton Benjamin, MVP still on his side, but his real big obstacle is going to be Bobby Lashley. So I like this a lot. I thought that this segment was a lot of fun to mix in with all the great wrestling that we got on the show. Gates of Agony getting the opportunity at the tag team titles doesn't make a lot of sense. Tony Khan needs to realize with the tag team titles, at least let these guys get 2 to 3 wins before you just hand them.
ROH.
That doesn't count. It doesn't count. You know that, Blake Christian fan. That doesn't count for anything.
That's what they're saying.
That doesn't count for anything. We need victories on AEW television before these guys can legitimately feel like a threat to the champions. But I liked how they booked it, where they gave them a lot more than Hurt Syndicate has given any other tag team. So I thought that was fine. That was a fine matchup on a show that had 3 other great matchups, including 2 match of the year candidates. So it was fine to have that matchup, but really the post match saved this whole segment because that was fun and a nice progression of this story, which in my eyes, I feel is one of the better stories going on in AEW right now.
Yeah, it's fun. Like it's a fun little story with MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. People have mentioned that.
I know they won on Collision.
Yes. SP3 said 2
1
to 3.
match. Yes. I said 2 to 3.
Yeah.
I said 2 to 3. You guys gotta realize context is key. Context is key with this stuff that I criticize. The Gates of Agony are not gonna feel like threats if they get 1 win over some guys that I've never heard of before. This on AEW television before. That doesn't matter. They have to get 2 to 3 wins on legit tag teams. At least Big Bill and Brian Keith, they beat Top Flight at least, but that's not much.
I'm hearing you, SP3.
Yeah. And I said ROH don't count. It don't count. I'm the guy that used to cover ROH for Fightful. I know that this doesn't count. That's why we're not reviewing it anymore. It don't count.
I agree with you.
But yeah, overall, like I said, best Dynamite, top 5 in my opinion, Dynamite episode, but definitely the best Dynamite of the year, and in my eyes, the best weekly wrestling TV show that I've seen all year.
Yeah, like Dynamite was fantastic. You mentioned NXT Roadblock as the other show that might be comparable or competitive to this Dynamite, and that's probably the only other one that can jump to my mind, because a lot of the main roster WWE shows have been so disjointed. Like I can't remember a single SmackDown that was good start to finish. At least 3 hours.
The one with the Charlotte and Tiffy train wreck was the best episode. The best 3-hour episode.
Nothing else happened on that show of importance, so I agree.
No, there was other stuff. They had that great last man standing match with Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman on that show as well. And I think that was the same show that had the CM Punk reveals the favor. And the Chicago crowd was great on that show. So that's why that one was the best 3-hour SmackDown, because they had more than just one thing. That's the key with WWE. With WWE shows, except for like NXT, who really relies on like good to great wrestling to have their stronger shows. With Raw and SmackDown, you just have to have 3 really good things or really noteworthy things that happen on the show for it to be a standout. I would say the best Raw on Netflix was either Penta's debut or the London show for me. The London show that I was at with Cody and Cena, Jimmy getting murdered, and Rhea and Io in the main event. That was probably the only other noteworthy Raw on Netflix. But I agree with you. The Raw and SmackDown have been very disjointed all year long.
Yeah. Anything else from Dynamite?
No, I think that's all the noteworthy stuff. I mean, we had a backstage with Hangman and the Young Bucks, where the Young Bucks was like, "We did you a favor, we took care of Swerve for you," and then the great interaction with Kazuchika Okada. Okada's timing is just perfect. He's Hangman, why are you so angry? You should smile like this. and then he walks away. Bitch. His timing on the bitch is the key. It's not just him saying bitch, it's his timing on it that makes it the best.
It is very good. Him when Naito comes over and Naito gets a catchphrase. Maybe Naito could say like asshole. Will that fly? You know, somebody could be a bitch. Because we already got damn taken care of. We can't use damn. That's copyright infringement. Or shit. Naito can say shit. Yeah.
Shit.
Maybe he can do it like The Wire. Shit.
Shit. And then he just sits back and
yeah.
shit.
They never wrestle. They're just chilling. Just telling stories. It's like remember when we competed in the G1? Bitch. Shit. That's it. That's the whole segment. Every week. They don't do anything else.
They just remind us about their New Japan runs.
Yeah. Never
but yeah. I think that's all from Dynamite this week. So you want to talk about the GCW WWE ID show?
I watched the majority of it. It was on the same time as Dynamite, so I kind of had both things going on, along with the terrible play-in games that were happening last night.
Not very good.
No, but yeah, I watched the majority of it. It was to set up some of the GCW stuff, like Zeta Steel getting involved, and I'm sure you're a big fan of Swipe Right showing up in multiple segments on the show.
They were the stars of the show. It was built around them. These guys, I was like, oh, they made this show for me. It wasn't a very good show. I will admit that. It wasn't a very good show. And I felt like the crowd was like dead for a lot of it. It was weird.
I mean, the show started at 8, so it was 5:00 local time, which is early in Vegas, I feel like. And I don't think a ton of independent wrestling fans cared to go see a WWE ID indie show. Honestly,
you could tell from the commentary, which we know that the letters in front of it is has a stigma around it, but these are independent talents. We swear they're independent talent. Like, I was like, who are y'all trying to convince, us or yourself?
Well, I don't know, man. These people are on WWE Evolve every week, so I don't feel like it really is. But that's the thing is, when you're gonna brand WWE ID on some of these shows, you're kind of running off some indie fans because they don't want WWE as part of their independent shows. And then you're not going to draw WWE fans because they don't care about Swipe Right and Zeta Steel and everything. They're in town to see Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. They're not worried about, WWE ID, like, what's that? Let me go check that out. And I do think being on the Wednesday didn't help, because I think for a lot of people, they were just getting in on Wednesday, or they're not getting in until Thursday. So I think there was a lot of factors working against the show.
I agree with you. They had a lot of things against it. So the crowd wasn't its best. First couple of matches wasn't its best. I thought that Izzy looked good in her match against Zara Zakir. That was my first time seeing Izzy wrestle in the ring, Izzy Moreno. She looked good in that matchup. She was screwed over by Swipe Right and Zeta Steel. They hit her with a Nike shoe to cost her matchup, so she couldn't get into the WWE ID tournament. I like that the fact that they continued the Atticus Cogar and Fiego del Sol rivalry within the tournament, with Fiego coming out and brawling with Atticus to the back, costing him his matchup, allowing Ice Williams to pick up the victory to move on in the tournament. I knew a bunch of the guys from Evolve, like Jordan Oasis and Swipe Right, Ice Williams, Zeta Steel, Kylie Ray and Zeta Steel. I thought had a pretty decent matchup as well. I think the best match of the show was the main event, the trio matchup, which was just as good as the original Evolve, the first episode of Evolve main event that they had with these same guys. Except this time, Swipe Right and Jackson Drake picked up the victory. I thought that was the best match on the show. I didn't think it needed to be 21 minutes. I felt like it was a little long in the tooth. I thought they could have had like a better 10, not even 10 to 15. I would say like 15-minute matchup. You just drop off like 5-6 minutes from that matchup, and I think it would have been even better and really been a standout matchup for them to hang that show on. But it was a good match. It was a good match to close the show, and it was the best match on the show. So
it felt like that match went long because the show, like, it's only like a 2.5 hour show overall.
Not even 2.5 hours. It was like 2 and change, like 2 hours 10 minutes was on Triller TV,
which is great because I'm all for these shorter shows.
Thank you. That and the Dragon Gate show being that long was the whole reason I was able to watch it while I was working.
It felt like they made that match longer, honestly, because it's like, oh, we got to hit like at least over 2 hours on this thing. We can't go under 2 hours, so let's extend this match a little bit longer. It's like, nah, you can go under 2 hours. It's cool. Like, we'll appreciate that. I love a good 2 hour show. Everything should be 2 hours. I don't want these, especially independent shows. I don't need 4 hour independent shows. Sorry, like 2 hours, get in, get out, be done with it. Great rules. But yeah, I thought it was a good show. I've not watched the Dragon Gate show. So it was a fine show. We'll go with the fine. I didn't think it was blow away good or anything.
Yeah.
Like, there was some fine stuff on it, but yeah, it didn't feel like, oh, this is WrestleMania week kicking off with like a big independent show. Just didn't.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch the Dragon Gate show though, but Joel said it was good, and you seem to enjoy it as well.
Yeah, that was a little bit above fine. That was like solid. It was one level above solid, one level above fine. So it's 2 levels above bad. Yeah, it was a little bit better. Like I said, I thought that the crowd was a little bit more up for the Dragon Gate USA show. I didn't think it was the best card for a Dragon Gate return. I did like Stardom being included in the card though. Zumi and Starlight Kid picking up a victory over Hate. I thought that was a decent enough matchup. The main event trio matchup, I think that they put too much on it, too much pressure in trying to be like, oh, this is in the lines with the great Dragon Gate trios matches that we've had in the past that's had Dragon Kid in it from 2006, 2014, 2010, and I was like, this is not on that level, but it picked up towards the end, and it was a bit of fun to end off the card. Love seeing Ultimo Dragon here. We even got a guest appearance from Matt Sydal, and I thought the matchup with Rich Swann and Willie Mack versus Alec Price and Jimmy Lloyd versus Ben K and KO was probably the best match on the show, and it was under 10 minutes, so that was another benefit to the show as well.
I'll have to check that out here shortly. Although there's so much stuff going on today, I'll see if I end up
That's a lot.
getting around to it. Yeah, there's so much.
I'm gonna try my best to try to catch the important matches on the shows from today. I'm gonna try my best during my work shift tomorrow before tomorrow's show to watch the Bloodsport show. And I think there's one other, maybe the TNA Impact, the TNA Unbreakable show. Those are the 2 shows that I will say I'm going to commit to watching tomorrow morning before we do In the Weed, so we can talk about it.
So I'll be watching Bloodsport. I'll be watching TNA. I do want to watch the WrestleCon Super Show, which starts at 6.
Oh yes, damn, yeah. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, that's one of my favorite shows ever since. I went to, I think I went in, did I go in New Orleans in 2018? I don't remember if I went in 2018, but I definitely went in 2019. And I still remember that. That's one of my favorite independent shows that I've ever been to. It had, I think it had Bandito versus Speedball on it, I think. No. That was the next year, or whatever the next WrestleMania weekend was. That one had Bandito versus Will Ospreay on it in the main event, which was absolutely phenomenal to watch live. And I remember that 2019 show in New York because me and my homegirl, Jen, we went together, and we were the only people in the crowd that popped for Orange Cassidy being there, because we had seen him at the end of 2018 for Evolve in Laboon. So when he comes out to be the tag team partner, the first time he's ever teamed with Best Friends was that show. We were the only people that stood up, and we were like, yeah, it's Orange Cassidy. Only people. And then by the end of the matchup, everybody was an Orange Cassidy fan, because that's what he was doing in the independent scene from 2018 to before AEW started in 2019.
There's like a Pandemonium Pro show in the afternoon. I know like Mustafa Ali is on that show against Ninja Mac. Kevin Blackwood's on that show. Shelton Benjamin was supposed to be on that show, but I feel like he might be on Dynamite tonight. And
Collision.
then Collision, sorry. And then there's a Defy show at 2 that's got the greatest wrestler of all time.
Versus Michael Oku, which
Michael
might
Oku.
actually
Eagles.
be cool. I am gonna watch the Progress show probably live. I'll probably try to catch that because that starts at 8 a.m. my time.
Evil's going to carry Michael Oku to one of the best matches he ever had, better than those Will Ospreay matches. So the Defy show looks really fun as well. It's got Rock and Roll Express against Midnight Heat as well, which will be a fun little match. So yeah, there's a lot of wrestling on tonight. And yeah, Bloodsport and Unbreakable are later tonight. There's obviously the live episode of Collision as well. So plenty of wrestling throughout the day. I'm going to listen to 10 million interviews throughout the day. I'm sure I've already seen Cody's done like 5 interviews that it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to Cody. A lot of Cody stuff.
Love you, Cody. But yeah, we got a lot of wrestling to look forward to tonight. But we got a few minutes left. I think it's time, Jeremy. It's time for SP3 to review C-level WWE shows, and I'm gonna try to do it quietly so my daughter doesn't come in here and tell me.
Yeah, I hope she bursts in and tells you to shut the hell up again.
Because LFG this week, LFG in the place to be. It had one of my favorites, Devon Dudley. He's the Dudley brother that I prefer, because he doesn't push people who's the opposite race of him, but he just listens to them. I don't know why he does that, but I love the Dudleys do not have a good relationship with Booker T, because Booker T believes Harlem Heat is the greatest tag team of all time, and they think the Dudleys. It's just a bunch of egomaniacs upset with each other, which is hilarious. But Devon was here to teach them the art of tag team wrestling, because they were going to do tag team matches. And the real story of the show was Sexy BJ Ray is back, baby. He's back in the place to be to make Bully Ray's life a living hell. Thank you, Lord. Anybody who makes Bully Ray's life a living hell, I'm here for him, and I'm a big fan of Sexy BJ Ray. So share it on your Twitter machine, because he'll probably retweet it, because that's the type of guy Sexy BJ Ray is. He's like 2016, 2017 MJF. He's great. But Sexy BJ Ray is back. He's cleared to wrestle. So he started talking crap to Cutler James, who took his spot on Team Bully. He's like, I'm back, so you can move aside. But Cutler James is like so paranoid and insecure around Sexy BJ Ray, because they actually went to school together. They went to the Duke University, and they were on the wrestling team together. And apparently BJ Ray used to always punk him out and make him his young boy, even though he's quite shorter than him. So Bully Ray saw their animosity going on. So he was like, you know what? Drake Monroe, Roxanne's boyfriend. Remember, that's his nickname, Roxanne's boyfriend. He was like, you're going to sit out on this one. We're going to team up Cutler James and Sexy BJ Ray, see if they can get along with each other. So they faced Mickey James tag team of Chris Island and Troy Yearwood. I don't know who in this matchup is good or not, because Sexy BJ Ray took it over. Apparently Cutler James was supposed to start the matchup, but Sexy BJ Ray tagged himself in, and then they did this whole, it was obviously an angle. I do not like always when I have angles on my reality show, so I wasn't too amused with it, but it was all basically them getting the coaches, Mickey and Bubba, getting mad at Sexy BJ Ray Ray for not following the plan. He would not tag in Cutler James because the crowd were chanting for BJ, and he was like, I'm just trying to give the crowd what they want. They want to see me. They don't want to see Cutler. So he wouldn't tag in Cutler James. So Cutler basically pushed him down and left the matchup. Yearwood and Chris Island were very confused by this, so they got distracted by this, and then BJ just rose up Chris Island, and the match was over. They did like in total maybe like 5 or 6 moves before the match was over, and then basically Bully told Sexy BJ Ray to get out of the PC and started basically. No, I'm gonna keep calling him that because I know it's gonna make y'all uncomfortable, Cam. Sexy BJ Ray was outside. He was outside, and Bubba basically read him the riot act, being like, "You basically put everybody in danger out there. You went against the script. That's not what you're supposed to do. This is irresponsible." He was like, "This is the most irresponsible, unprofessional thing I've ever seen in the wrestling industry." He even went to Chris Island, who he had the whole beef with last week, and apologized to him for what BJ did out there. So that was a whole big angle on the show, and it sets up next week where Bubba says that it's going to be Sexy BJ Ray versus Cutler James 1-on-1, and whoever is more impressive, whoever is not the most impressive between them is getting cut from the show completely. So it sets up a big angle for next week. So I'll take the fakeness of it all because I know this was planned.
Shocked that the reality WWE show would have a scripted storyline in it.
I know.
Appalling.
I know. I was appalled. I was very appalled by this. The better men's tag team matchup was Anthony Luke and Jasper Troy of Team Booker versus Team Undertakers. Who's on there? Elijah Holyfield and Shiloh Hill. They had like a big physical matchup that was much better than the other men's matchup on this show. So that really delivered on here. And both teams looked very good, but in the end, it was Team Undertaker who got the point because Devon hates Booker. I'm here for that as well. But black on black crime, yes. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying hate black on Booker crime, yes. But there we go with that. Then on the women's side, the women's matchups, one was good, one was not so good. There was Team Booker's Lay Laurel and P Nasty. They faced, who did they face? No, they didn't face Team Mickey. They didn't face Team Bubba. Yeah, they did face Team Bubba. They faced Team Bubba's Team Bubba faced Team Undertaker. Because it was Tyra Maysteel and Bailey Humphreys versus Team Bubba, Xena, and I forget the other girl's name, but Jasmine, I think her name is, because Jasmine was having beef. She's from Australia. That's all I remember from her. I don't remember her first name. She was having beef with TMS, Tyra Maysteel, because Tyra Maysteel is the more experienced of everybody in the matchup. So she was trying to like basically guide everybody because Team Bubba girls wanted to do like a dance before they did like an arm wringer, and she's like, I'm an Olympic gold medalist. I'm not the right person for you to be doing this on. And Finley came in and basically was like, yeah, she's absolutely right. It's the wrong place, the wrong time, the wrong person. Tatiana Dumas. She's very insecure and very cocky, it seems like, because she was like, I don't like her talking to Tyra Maysteels like that. I'm a Tyra Maysteels guy, so I didn't like all of that, but I'm not a fan of her. But the match was actually really good because, like Sean said earlier, Bailey Humphreys pulled out the freaking mercy kill from Shane Mercer, and that popped everybody. That popped Undertaker, that popped Bubba. They were all for it, even though, like Sean said, if they saw Shane Mercer do it on the indie, they'd be like, this business is ruined.
Or if they saw Logan Paul do it, they'd also think it was a great move.
True. True. But Bailey Humphries has really come from behind. She's really stepped up in her last couple of matches. Like her just pulling out different moves, her really improving, and she just has such a unique look and a unique size for women's wrestling. I think that she can have something if she keeps improving in the ring like she was. So that was one ladies matchup. The other one was Serena and Danny Selitsky versus, I guess, Team Booker's Lay Laurel and P Nasty. That was not a good matchup. They were just all over the place, very disjointed, did not really work that well. So that was kind of the off one. So I think the points went to, like I said, Team Undertaker. And then I think the other point went to not Team Mickey, not Team Bubba, Team Booker. No, was it Team Booker? No, I don't think it's Team Booker. I don't know who the other point went to. I don't remember the latest matches. No, I think it went to Team Bubba. I think it actually went to Team Bubba because Xena and Tatiana actually did well in their matchup. Like I said, that was the better of the two women's matches. So Team Bubba got his second point. I try to forget when Bubba gets a point, so I apologize for that. But Bubba got a point, and Team Undertaker got a point this week. So Team Undertaker is in the league, and Bubba is still last because he is last in life. Then we go to WWE Evolve this week. Lot better show. It was very much focused on the main event this week. You had Kaylee Armstrong, who I'm gonna now be calling Jazz Belair because she's a mix of Bianca Belair and Jazz all mixed into one. It's hilarious because her promos is like Jazz, but she's like a bodybuilder in the ring, and she's like Bianca Belair. So she's Jazz Belair, aka Callie Armstrong. She picked up the victory over Chantel Monroe, my girl. Kendall Gray, the best spear in the game. Please remember. Oh, we got a nice little vignette about her too. She was a college wrestler, and her dad didn't want her to wrestle with the boys in high school, but she said, "Bump all that, Dad. I'll wrestle you. I'll put you down." And she started wrestling with the guys, and she was actually ranked in the guys wrestling league because Kendall Gray got a better spear than your favorite Jey Uso. Sorry, Jey Uso fans. Kendall Gray got a better spear. They did a whole profile on her. Brenlyn Reese was also in the matchup, and she tried to cheat, so we're slow burning a heel turn for her, so that was pretty interesting. But Callie Armstrong was the right choice. She picked up the win. She impressed Stevie Turner, as we're about to get WWE Evolve women's titles pretty soon. Gallus was in action.
Why?
They won.
Why?
That's it. That's all I can remember. And Ora Mensa picked up a win over Big Body Javier Bernal, and Javier Bernal is on a losing streak right now because I think they're trying to tell a story of him not being on his game ever since he came to Evolve. But Ora Mensa picked up a victory here, so good stuff. I agree, Zeno Hour. Callie Armstrong and Kendall Gray are the big standouts from the women's division in WWE Evolve right now. That four-way was pretty solid. That was the highlight of the show.
The C-suite is what people are calling this. The SP C-suite is what we might have to.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Zeno Hour. I know Zeno Hour. He loves his C-suite. So
I'm not putting any respect on Gallus's name. I'm sorry. I don't know why they're on Evolve. I just don't. They shouldn't be on that show. Like, I thought that show was for up and coming talent, not talent that's been there for like 8 years, and I've just been on NXT and NXT UK.
he's like it's for up and coming talent, not talent that just keep coming.
Yeah. Not doing it. All right. Collision is tonight. We've kind of run down the card a little bit. They don't have a ton announced for it. Do you think Nick Wayne wins the ROH TV title?
I think that I'm gonna say, well, no. I was gonna say no because I thought they were gonna do the Michael O'Cool matchup on the 420 episode on Friday. But if they're doing that now, it's probably on ROH YouTube channel right now, then they'll probably, maybe there's a chance. I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say yes. Daddy knows best, and he uses the advice of Christian Cage to pick up the victory.
Oh, The Rock has tweeted something.
Oh boy.
Oh, it's just Project Rock training. Oh, he says, let's see. New Project Rock training collection drops now. You against you. Once we understand and embrace the concept, it becomes very powerful. It creates space for us to block out all the bullshit noise and concentrate on one thing that is truly your greatest influence, you. Shout out to Drew McIntyre for leading our Project Rock campaign. I'm a big supporter of Drew and grateful for all the value he brings to WWE in and out of the ring. Still can't get Drew a better match than Damian Priest on WrestleMania.
Didn't work that out. He's going to join the John Cena faction after WrestleMania. He's going to be good to go. He's going to be good to go.
Yeah.
Him, Carmelo Hayes, and R-Truth.
So there you go. The Rock is a big fan of Drew McIntyre. Does not seem to care about John Cena and Cody Rhodes this weekend.
It's like, fuck all that. I don't care. There you go.
I think Nick Wayne wins, by the way. I am predicting Nick Wayne. Adam Cole will have his open challenge. I assume Adam Cole wins. I don't think they're taking the title off of him this early. It's probably going to be answered from...
Who do you think answers the open challenge, though?
Some ROH person. You know who it should be,
I want Anthony Bowens to answer it.
No, they're not going to beat Bowens that quickly. That doesn't make sense.
Probably not. Probably not.
You know who it should be?
I'm Vanilla Baby.
I said, oh, God.
With the song. Imagine this is the debut of the song. This is the victory lap Tony finally takes to pop me specifically.
Why do I think that you're right and that it probably is going to be Blake Christian? Because he's been booking Blake Christian on all these shows.
All right, hold on. We're going to tweet Tony again. He loves when I tweet him.
God. Here we go.
He loves when I tweet him. Tony's a big fan of my tweets.
He pops. You know who it should be? It should be Hologram.
They're not going to beat Hologram, though. They don't want to.
No, why not? Why not? They're not doing anything with Hologram.
I mean, I agree, but they don't want to beat him. Like,
just beat him. It'll be a fun matchup. He'd fly everywhere. Cole will bump for him, and then he takes the Panama Sunrise, an awful looking one, and then takes the boom.
I don't think that's gonna happen. They're not gonna beat Hologram. It's gonna be someone who's like fine, but they're just gonna lose. All right, hello, Tony Khan.
Oh, so wait. So ROH is on YouTube from now on?
No. It's just today.
Okay.
It's just today.
Okay.
I don't think it's now on, right? Or
I thought Catering said SP3 ROH on YouTube for now on. I thought he said from now on. So my bad.
No, I think it's just a special episode today because I'm pretty sure the Friday episode is
on Honor Club.
Yeah, the Friday episode's on Honor Club. Yeah. So it's just a special episode for today. Yeah. Well, we like to make sure we got the facts here. Okay, so hold on. Hello, Tony Khan. I'm quote tweeting the Adam Cole TNT Open Challenge. This seems like the perfect opportunity to have. I'll tag Blake Christian. Blake Christian. Enter to Lovin' on Me by Jack Harlow. After a milestone episode of Dynamite, this is the only proper follow-up. Anything else I should add to this tweet?
I'm not agreeing with this tweet, so I'm not.
Why are you a hater?
I don't want it to be him.
Why?
I mean, I'd rather Beast Mortos. Give it to Beast Mortos.
Why?
Give it to Mark Briscoe. No, Kevin the Jet Knight. There's so many other people.
Why are you just gonna beat these dudes? You should want them to win. You know, Blake Christian's
because
gonna
there'll
lose.
be a better matchup than Blake Christian. I have more belief that they can get a near fall that I actually believe than Blake Christian.
Why are you trying to hold down Blake Christian? He doesn't like whips and chains. You can't tie him down.
God.
Why won't you whip your lovin' on him?
Hey, yo. I ain't whipping my loving on no man. What are we doing? What are we doing?
All right,
Yeah, we're on the same page, Chaz. Since
I've
I think it
tweeted.
will actually be Kevin Knight.
I tweeted Tony Khan. Hopefully he's not cowardly. And could you imagine if in the same week a Thea Hale return and Love It On Me by Jack Harlow?
This will be the greatest week ever for you.
I'm retiring. I'm done. I'm not showing up tomorrow if this happens. I'm
and then I get to pull up. I get to pull up my pillow tomorrow on the show if you do show up because you'll be talking about it the whole show.
I'm not showing up tomorrow if this happens. A Thea Hale return and Blake Christian getting Jack Harlow within days of each other. It'll be the peak. The absolute peak. Wrestling certainly won't matter afterwards. WrestleMania, who could possibly care?
I don't know. I don't know what on WrestleMania is going to top Mercedes and Athena and Ospreay and Takeshita. I think those two matches set the bar very high for WrestleMania to set. I don't know if we're going to get a 5-star matchup or 2 match of the year candidates on either night of WrestleMania.
We're going to get cinema, SP3.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Who cares about your star ratings? We got to get the cinema.
I've been very conservative. I've been listening to the feedback from my good friend Jimmy Macaram. I don't even post my star ratings anymore. I just keep note of them for myself in case someone asks me, like, what did you give this matchup? And I just have a tab on my computer where I put on my star ratings. But I will put it out here on IndieWeez, exclusively on IndieWeez. Ospreay and Takeshita did get 5 stars from me. No 5 1/4. Only matchup that got 5-star plus this year is Kenny Omega and Gabe Kidd. Because that got me in the feels. You gotta have a spectacular in-ring matchup with getting me in the feels with awesome storytelling. But as far as the in-ring work and the story they told in the ring, I thought Ospreay and Takeshita easy 5-star matchup. My 5th 5-star matchup this year, Jeremy. I'm very conservative now. Only 5 matches have gotten 5 stars this year.
Tiffany and Charlotte's going to be the best match on the show.
I wouldn't be surprised. Charlotte Flair, the last time she had an awful build to WrestleMania, she had one of the greatest women's matches of all time against Rhea Ripley 2 years ago.
They're going to throw some shoot punches at each other. It's going to rule. It's going to be fantastic. All right, folks. We're going to get out of here. Spotlight is live today at 4 on this channel. Early episode because Jensen does not have to work today. So we're going to record at 4. We're going to talk WrestleMania. We're going to talk Collective and all the indie shows and everything. So we'll have plenty to talk about today on Spotlight. I'm going to try to rest a little bit, but that's not
Jensen will be joining us on True Hill Heat on Saturday.
There you go.
To talk some GCW Collective because a few more shows will happen after the Spotlight, and then we'll also be talking about giving his final predictions for WrestleMania on Saturday.
He's gonna pick Cody Rhodes. I'm gonna spoil that for everybody right now.
Oh, shocker!
Just gonna let everybody know. Steven Jensen will be picking Cody Rhodes to win at WrestleMania. Cowardly pick, honestly. But yeah, what can you do? I'll make sure to troll him plenty today at 4 o'clock. All right, so Spotlight at 4, everybody. Check that out. Appreciate it. SP3 and I will be back tomorrow. We'll preview WrestleMania as well tomorrow, and we'll talk about Collision, and we'll talk about Bloodsport and TNA Unbreakable. A lot to talk about on tomorrow's episode. So we'll be back tomorrow. SP3, let them know where you're at.
Follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. And please join me in about 45 minutes. I will be live on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel at 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time with one of my favorite people to do podcasts with now since she's been joining me for WWE and AEW pay-per-view previews. Maggie, as well as Cresta the Star. I'm doing 2 shows with Cresta the Star. I feel like a star. She's giving me the star rub. She's going to be joining us to preview WWE WrestleMania 41 at 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time. And that should be a fun one. Also, True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment. I think immediately after that, we'll be over there on that channel to preview the NBA playoffs, me and Chris G. And then, like I said earlier, after Collision, the post show for Collision tonight on the Fightful main channel, me and Cresta reviewing Spring Breakthrough Night 2.
There you go. Again, we'll be back tomorrow, everybody, at 10 a.m. Eastern. Everyone take care tonight. Everyone enjoy all the wrestling tonight, or don't. Watch other stuff. There's no basketball. Hockey. Might be some hockey on. I don't know. Watch Daredevil. That's a thing.
Oh, please watch Daredevil. That finale. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss.
Watch whatever you want. Watch your wrestling, in the words of Tony Khan, for like a week before he realized that didn't catch on, even though he filed a trademark on it. But,
and guys, don't be a critic. Be a fan.
That's right.